Chapter 326, Chapter 326, Chapter 196, Black Mountain Sect Destroyed. 80 feet Yuan High _2, Chapter 326, Chapter 196, Black Mountain Sect Destroyed. 80 feet Yuan High _2. Please continue reading on X and 0VL. Kill. He rushed forward, his entire body turning golden yellow. Gusts of wind and thunder surrounded him, with runes and laws interwoven in a cave-like formation. They transformed into a beam of golden light, attempting to forcibly break through the sealed heaven and earth before him. Thump, thump. In an instant, powerful fluctuations emerged in the deep sky, and an overwhelming force pressed down. It shook the mountains, making rivers weep. Ultimately, ripples appeared in the void, revealing a golden light. Like a golden meteor, it fell to the ground at an extreme speed. Puff! Jiangku coughed up blood. His robust body was pierced, golden blood streaming out, and his incomplete wings were shrouded in winding golden runes. Gradually, they became faint and unstable. The robust body finally fell helplessly, as there was no longer any life within it. The terrifying gunmetal chi in his body erupted, and his body exploded into pieces. Jiangku was indeed powerful, but having just survived the thunder tribulation, his physical body was greatly damaged. His strength was only about 40 to 50% of his peak. Compared to Wei Zongqing, an Earth-rank demon extermination general of the Demon Suppression Army, his strength was too lacking. As they stared at the gradually calming deep sky and the shattered body of Jiangku, Shangtsung, Lei Kang, and Tanshan all heaved a sigh of relief. If Jiangku had really managed to break through Wei Zongqing's attack, the three of them would have had no chance of stopping a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse's ambush. At this moment, Wei Zongqing gracefully descended from the sky, with runes flowing beneath his feet. With a detached expression, he looked down at the world below him. God of War, the general is a god of war. Many in the Demon Suppression Army cheered with joy and looked up at Wei Zongqing with admiration. He forcefully killed the sect master of the Black Mountain Sect, seized their precious treasure, the Black Mountain Seal, and killed the Supreme Elder Jiangku. With such astonishing strength, the Demon Suppression Guards regarded him as a divine figure, and their admiration was genuine. Supreme Elder. Those who remained from the Black Mountain Sect cried out in grief. The Supreme Elder that had protected their sect for centuries had fallen in battle. A great tragedy. Go. Hurry up. A low voice from the Black Mountain Sect's second elder called out. He actively attacked the pursuing Demon Suppression Army and various martial artists to buy time for his fellow sect members. Unfortunately, he was already severely injured, and alone he couldn't make any impact. His life soon came to an end. I've delayed you long enough. I'll send you on your way for the last time. Wei Zongqing waved his hand, and runes filled the sky, killing off the remaining dozens of people from the Black Mountain Sect. The ground beneath them was soaked in blood. From that moment on, there were no survivors from the Black Mountain Sect. Transmit my command. The war is over. The Demon Suppression Army will begin the battlefield cleanup, and all Martial Academy personnel and other martial artists shall withdraw from the Black Mountain Sect. His voice thundered out, covering 10,000 miles around. The numerous martial artists who had been scouring resources from the 3 halls and 9 peaks immediately stopped, leaving the Black Mountain Sect to return to their battleships. Even on the road, no one dared to pick up any treasures or spirit herbs left behind. Once the war was over, all resources belonged to the Demon Suppression Army and the Great Mori Jin. This was taboo, and no martial artist dared to defy it. Is it over already? Lu Yun looked up at Wei Zongqing, who was floating in mid-air like a burning sun. Wei Zongqing's strength far exceeded Lu Yun's expectations. It was almost impossible for a powerhouse of the same realm to stop someone of the Rune Seed realm who was determined to flee. However, Jiangku, an early-stage Rune Seed realm powerhouse, and the Black Mountain Sect's supreme elder, failed to escape. Wei Zongcheng's attack killed him like a bolt from the blue. Jiangku had just gone through a thunder tribulation and was not at his peak state, which likely contributed to his capture or killing. But even so, another early-stage Rune Seed realm powerhouse would struggle to achieve that. Wei Zongcheng not only killed Jiangku, but did so effortlessly. This demonstrated his terrifying power, worthy of being called an Earth-rank demon extermination general of the Great Meridian's demon suppression army. Withdrawing his gaze, Lu Yun appeared on a mountain peak thousands of miles away. Lu Yun sat cross-legged on a green stone. Though he had killed fewer enemies in this battle, his harvest was rich. Both Golden Body realm elders he had killed had plenty of spirit crystals and pills on them. There were even tens of thousands of spirit crystals and numerous 5th and 6th grade pills. Taking a look at the empty bookshelves in the Black Mountain Sect's book collection pavilion, Lu Yun felt a bit disappointed. Even the Sumi ring, head searched, had no cultivation techniques to offer. However, Lu Yun had been prepared for this and wasn't too disappointed. Even before arriving at the coastal area, Lu Yun knew that the 100 sects took their inheritance of cultivation techniques very seriously. They would not easily allow their disciples to take them out of their sect's book collection pavilion or cultivation hall. That would be too risky. Not obtaining cultivation techniques from the Black Mountain Sect disciples and elders was normal. It will take some time for the Demon Suppression Army to clean up the battlefield. I can take this opportunity to enhance my strength. Opening the panel. Name Lu Yun Power, Flying Spirit Martial Academy Cultivation Technique, Pure Yang Martial Cannon, Original Liquid Chapter, 1% Accomplished, Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 5th Layer, Annihilation 100%, Life Destruction Saber Techniques, 2nd Layer, Unparalleled Blood Blade 100%, Wind Thunder Manual, 3rd Layer, Instant Horizon 100%, 5th Scripture, 1st Layer, Red Sun Breaks the Sky 100%, Finger Scripture, 1st Layer, Formless Tribulation Finger 100%, Innate Talent, Level 8, Martial Arts, Late Stage Origin Fluid Realm, Energy Value, 65,000, automatically increases by 4 daily. Conception, Slaughter Conception, 5th rank, 70%. Thunder Conception, 2nd rank, 27%. Skill, Level 6 Alchemy Technique, 27%. Talent, White Lotus Flame, 4th rank, 1%. Luck Value, 61, Flying Spirit Martial Academy's Saint Child, representing Flying Spirit Martial Academy and Walking the World. Note 1. Luck value can enhance weapon or treasure grade and merge similar weapons. Note 2. Automatically increases by 1 daily. The huge energy value on the panel was accumulated by Lu Yun before he left the Pill Medicine Building, and because of the expedition, he hadn't had time to convert all of this into strength. Now, taking advantage of the army's rest and cleanup of the battlefield, Lu Yun decided to push the original liquid chapter to a higher level, consume 3,000 energy points, raise the pure Yang Martial Cannon original liquid chapter accomplishment to 11%, consume pure Yang Martial Cannon original liquid chapter. In the end, after consuming 30,000 energy points, the accomplishment of the pure Yang Martial Cannon original liquid chapter reached 100%, achieving perfection. At the same time, endless heavenly and earthly spiritual chi surged and poured into Lu Yun's body, turning into a golden true origin river under the circulation of cultivation technique and injecting into the Yuan Hai. The originally 70 Zhang Hai golden pure Yang Yuan Hai was now rapidly climbing. This climbing origin fluid continuously washed and subtly improved the strength of Lu Yun's body. High above the Black Mountain sect, Wei Zongqing, who had been as calm as an ancient well, seemed to sense something. His gaze shifted and looked in Lu Yun's direction. The golden pupils glowed with runes as his sight penetrated numerous obstacles, as if he could see the scene thousands of miles away. That little guy seems to be from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Such a powerful momentum from his breakthrough. After discovering the reason for the disturbance of heavenly and earthly spiritual energy, Wei Zongqing was quite shocked, and a strange expression appeared in his eyes. Before this, He Lu from Origin Martial Academy had asked him to help keep an eye on a disciple of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, that is, Lu Yun. At first, he had been puzzled as to why an ordinary Origin Fluid Realm disciple could be personally entrusted by He Lu, a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse. Now, he had finally understood some reasons. From the momentum of the breakthrough, this Flying Spirit Martial Academy's little guy has a deep foundation. If he can have such accumulations during the Golden Body Realm, a top-grade rune seed is hopeful. A top-grade rune seed, without accidents, would definitely become a true master of the Golden Core Realm. Such talent was deserving of the attention of He Lu, a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse from Origin Martial Academy. He cultivated a mid-level rune seed, but it was a top-notch mid-level rune seed with a high chance of achieving Golden Core. Therefore, he merely appreciated Lu Yun's demonstrated talent without envy. He nodded slightly. The flashing rune in his eyes disappeared, and he withdrew his gaze and closed his eyes to rest again. It seemed that only Wei Zongqing, a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse, knew about the commotion caused by Lu Yun's breakthrough. The three Golden Body Realm Peak powerhouses, Shangtsong, Lei Kang, and Tanchen, didn't notice it. As for the other martial artists, they were even less capable. Only Zhuo Qiwai's gaze moved imperceptibly. Chapter 327, Chapter 327, Chapter 197, White Mountain Domain, Attacking and Killing Sea Beasts. Chapter 327, Chapter 197, White Mountain Domain, Attacking and Killing Sea Beasts. Please continue reading on X0VL. 2 days later, in the early morning, the Kumon's extermination token hanging on Lu Yun's waist suddenly began to tremble. Are we setting off again? Standing up, Lu Yun's 8-foot-tall Yuan Hai calmed down and hid within his body. With instant horizon, he returned to the battleship in an instant. On the battleship, Lu Yun looked down and saw the land below clearly. The area that originally belonged to the Black Mountain sect had turned into ruins. Most notably, the 3 palaces and 9 peaks of the Black Mountain sect were severely damaged. The mountains were broken, shrouded in a desolate atmosphere. The Earth's vein was destroyed, so even if there were survivors from the Black Mountain sect, they would not be able to reestablish the sect here. This was the true annihilation of a sect, with no chance of revival. As time passed slowly, the Demon Suppression Army, martial academies, and independent martial cultivators regrouped on their respective battleships. There are only a little over 8,000 people left in the Demon Suppression Army, and a little over 1,000 independent martial cultivators. Lu Yun glanced at them and silently calculated the losses from this battle. Among them, nearly 2,000 people were lost from the Demon Suppression Army, and about 500 independent martial cultivators were lost. All 4 Golden Body Realm Elders from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy survived, but 1 disciple fell, and now only 9, including Lu Yun, remain. Additionally, the situation of South Sun Martial Academy was worse than that of Flying Spirit Martial Academy, having lost 2 genius disciples. Compared to independent martial cultivators and the Demon Suppression Army, the martial academics were in a much better state. This was also normal. The lowest realm within the martial academies was Transforming Origin Realm, and their superior talents made their actual strength much higher than their realm showed on the surface. Like Bailey E. from Flying Spirit Martial Academy, who was in the mid-stage of transforming origin realm, but his true strength was even stronger than some at the peak of the transforming origin realm. Especially after this battle, he had gained no small amount of experience, gradually approaching the late stage of the transforming origin realm. After everyone had returned to the battleships, a massive oppressive force enveloped them, making them all breathless. High above in the sky, Wei Zongqing, the Earth-rank demon extermination general of the Demon Suppression Army, descended suddenly. Set off! Wei Zongqing gave the command motionlessly, and the battleships began to take off amidst a series of rumbling noises. 2 days later, the battleships left the Black Mountain Sect's territory and arrived at a new domain, the White Mountain Domain. The White Mountain Domain was the territory of the White Lotus Sect in the nearby coastal area. At the moment, the vast White Mountain Domain was filled with terrifying killing intent. On the way, Lu Yun and the others on the battleships saw mountains shattered into pieces, rivers cut off by tremendous forces, countless abyss-like craters, and battlefields permeated with horrifying killing intent. Wei Zongqing's expression remained calm throughout the journey. With his deep-set eyes staring ahead, he suddenly noticed something and coldly ordered, "Head southeast." An hour later, everyone arrived above the remains of a sect. This was a group of broken mountains, shattered peaks, and destroyed palaces. The smell of blood almost pierced the heavens. On the highest peak, a broken corpse lay there. It was a human corpse. Even though it was dead, its terrifying pressure could still be faintly felt. It was clear that this person had been a rune seed realm expert, while alive. Unfortunately, he was now dead with no signs of life. A large hole in his chest was the fatal wound. In other places, there were bodies everywhere. These belonged to the warriors of the 100 Sect, the Demon Suppression Army, and the independent martial cultivators. Normally, after the war was over, these bodies would end up as part of the soil, returning to nature. But now, several massive sea beasts were feasting on these human corpses, especially near the corpse of the rune seed realm expert. A sea beast that was the largest among them belonged to the sea buffalo race. Its imposing aura was like a storm. The other sea beasts felt the terrifying power of the sea buffalo and didn't dare to approach, even though the rune seed realm expert's corpse was very tempting to them. "This human corpse is mine. You all go and cat the other corpses," the sea buffalo ordered and stepped forward. To the sea buffalo, the human rune seed realm corpse was as valuable as a top-grade natural treasure. "Sea buffalo, die!" A loud and resonating voice rang out in the sky. It was Wei Zongqing. As an Earth-rank demon extermination general, he had murderous intent towards the warriors of the 100 Sects, but would not desecrate their corpses. Besides, the sea beasts were also enemies to the human race. Whenever they met, they would have to fight for life and death. He leaped, and in the void, runes flashed around him. Rippling patterns appeared, and silver-white spears emerged, exuding a terrifying surge of power. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The silver-white spears, as fast as lightning, tore through the air. Before they even completely fell, their formidable pressure caused the land to crack. A human rune seed realm expert, the sea buffalo was surprised and angry, but not afraid. It was also a 7th-rank sea beast, and not weaker than a human rune seed realm expert. "Human, it is you who will die." The sea buffalo's massive body ascended into the sky, and its hoof-like fist struck the spear. Boom! The sea buffalo's enormous body was crushed and sent hurtling downwards, breaking a mountain peak. The surrounding sea beasts were sent flying as well. However, these sea beasts were all of the 6th rank with incredibly tough bodies, and they were not injured. Roar! A terrifying roar erupted. and the sea buffalo that had destroyed the mountain peak leaped high into the sky, standing on its four hooves in midair and stretching dozens of feet long. A pair of horns grew on its head, wrapped with dark clouds. Its shiny black fur seemed to swallow all light, while the radiating aura could make anyone feel an infinite sense of horror just by a quick glance. Chapter 328, Chapter 328, Chapter 197, White Mountain Domain. Chapter 328, Chapter 197, White Mountain Domain. Please continue reading on X0VL. M attacking and killing sea beasts, _ 2 dozens of feet long sea cow, its hooves stomping on the void, charged towards Wei Zongqing. Wretched beast die. Having previously struck a powerful blow that did not damage the sea cow, Wei Zongqing was not surprised. Sea beasts dwell in the deep sea for years and have even stronger physiques than demon beasts. It would not be an easy matter to hurt them, but he did not fear. His golden pupils ignited with intense fighting spirit and a killing intent. The body of a 7th-rank sea beast would be a bountiful harvest for him. Its blood would further enhance the strength of his demon suppression army. It was undeniable that Wei Zongqing's strength was overwhelming. With a flick of his wrist, runes flickered like an immense sea pressing forward, forcing the sea cow's colossal body to tremble violently and retreat madly. Kill! With a jolt, the sea cow released 2 giant horns from its head, turning into 2 curved blades, tearing the sky apart and slashing at an extremely fast speed. These bovine horns had been tempered to be indestructible and had been used by the sea cow ever since it advanced to the 7th rank. They were unstoppable and could cut through the engraved law runes. Boom! However, at this moment, Wei Zongqing directly used his palm to forcefully collide with the bovine horns without any fear. His palms touched the horrifying horns, and the law runes shined brilliantly. Die! The sea cow opened its mouth wide, spitting out a burst of essence chi, which entered the horns, making them even more radiant and powerful. Boom! 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 Wei Zongqing's palms continuously struck the horns, using all of his law runes. The collision between the 2 parties caused powerful waves that made the heavens and the earth tremble. Even the mountains beneath them were cracked by the intense battle fluctuations. At the same time, tenacious silver-white spears condensed in the void behind Wei Zongqing, piercing through the sky and targeting the sea cow's main body. Upon the sea cow's massive body, a green light rippled, deep and unfathomable like the sea. As the silver-white spears landed on the sea cow's body, they caused layers of ripples, immediately breaking apart. This spear was able to kill the human race strongest, who was at the rune seed realm, but it could not break through the body of the sea cow. It was evident from this how strong the deep-sea giant beast's physique was. "Ha, human race warrior, you still can't break through my body." The sea cow laughed wildly, making its horn attack Wei Zongqing even more intensely. As the intense battle between the 2 continued, it completely ignited the void and created waves that shook the mountains and caused the earth to crack. Now that the sea cow is entangled with the human race warrior, it is the best opportunity for us to seize the human rune seed realm warrior's body. A huge sea elephant with its eyes glinting suggested. Upon hearing these words, the hearts of the surrounding 6th-rank sea beasts slightly stirred. For these 6th-rank sea beasts, a human rune seed realm martial artist flesh had tremendous benefits. If they could really share the feast, their chances of achieving the 7th rank in the future would be greater. Under normal circumstances, they would never dare defy the will of the sea cow. However, the situation was special at present, and they simply could not let go of this opportunity. Ka, what are we waiting for? The winged seahorse was the first to charge out, stepping down on the residues of the slain human rune seed realm warrior and rushing toward his corpse. Humph! Is the corpse of a human martial artist something that can be casually devoured by wretched beasts like you? At this moment, a battleship flew horizontally, and the Black Rank Demon Extermination General Shang Tsung shouted. In his hand appeared a longbow, its bowstring tightly drawn, the yuan high surging, and a fiery red arrow shot out forcefully. The arrow turned into a blazing rainbow-like meteor, shining brilliantly, piercing through the sky and charging at the gigantic seahorse. The seahorse neighed, flapped its wings, and manifested a vast expanse of mysterious light that engulfed the arrow. However, the arrow was resplendent, flickering with dazzling light, and its momentum was unstoppable as it pierced through the mysterious light. With a plop, the fiery red arrow penetrated the body of the seahorse, causing it to explode, and blood splattered all over. Shang Tsung, with his one-arrow power so powerful that it killed a 6th-rank seahorse right away, was unquestionably the most formidable Black-rank demon extermination general under Wei Zongqing. You sea beasts should stay obediently in the sea instead of invading our land. Those who do will be killed without mercy. South Sun Martial Academies. Tan Chen's beard quivered as he flew above the battlefield. He reached out, and a huge palm print appeared in the void, flaming with intense fire that pressed down on the entire world beneath him. The giant palm pressed down quickly, boldly, and aggressively, causing the earth to crumble inch by inch. The weaker sea beasts below were panicked and could not withstand the pressure, ultimately being crushed into mincemeat. The battleship descended from the sky like a cloud covering the sun and blocking out the light. More human warriors have arrived, and there are so many of them. We are no match for them. Let's retreat first. A giant crab that was over 20 feet long spoke human language and charged out. Behind it, other sea beasts of the same kind followed, although they had lower ranks and weaker strength. One after another, they fled with the giant crab. Since you have come, don't leave. Lei Kang transformed into a thunderbolt and leaped out of the battleship, rushing towards the sky. With his hands outstretched, he connected with the power of the heaven and earth, and countless golden thunderbolts surged like a waterfall in reverse. With the overwhelming thunderous power, hundreds of sea crabs were killed, and the 6th-rank sea crab was also brutally struck, causing its body to explode and spill blood. Lei Kang's eyes flashed coldly, reaching his right hand out. A golden spear formed from condensed thunderbolts appeared, releasing a fierce and violent aura. Whiz! The golden thunderbolt spear shot through the void, penetrating the sea crab's body. The thunder roared, causing the flesh to explode and turning it into a cloud of blood. Chapter 329, Chapter 329, Chapter 197, The White Mountain Region, Attacking the Sea Beast _3, Chapter 329, Chapter 197, The White Mountain Region, Attacking the Sea Beast _3. Please continue reading on X and 0VL. The coastal territories have always belonged to our sea clan, yet you humans have claimed it as your own, and now you even twist things around. An enormous shark, black as ink and spanning dozens of feet long, roared. Its raspy voice accompanied by waves of dark energy. It was a mature deep-sea giant shark, astonishingly powerful, closing in on the 7th rank. Its appearance in the coastal waters was for devouring the human martial artists, strengthening itself, and finding an opportunity to transcend. Now that the corpse of a rune-seed realm human combatant was right here, if it could consume it, its chances of breakthrough would increase by 10%. With that in mind, it was not concerned about the approach of the human army. Its jaws opened wide, a whirlpool of energy ready to suck in the body of the rune seed realm combatant. Even in death, a rune seed realm combatant's body would form a forbidden zone, which only with the passage of time would disappear. Yet now, with a single inhalation by the giant shark, the forbidden zone formed by the rune seed realm combatant shattered instantly. The body was swept up by the current and swallowed by the shark. Haha, the body of a human rune seed realm combatant is indeed the ultimate tonic. As the powerful flow of energy surged within, the giant shark let out a defiant roar, while crazily refining the energy to enhance its own body and bloodline. This is bad. This bastard's aura is fluctuating. It seems to be getting ready for a promotion. The trio's faces turned pale. A 6th rank sea beast. Even if a formidable one, they could grind it down due to their numbers, and even kill it. But if it transcends and becomes a 7th rank demon beast, they would be in big trouble. We need to strike. We have to kill it and not let it transcend. Shang Tsung, Tan Chun, and Lei Kang, the 3 peak golden body realm combatants, launched a joint attack against this sea beast. Naturally, this sea beast on the verge of breakthrough invoked trepidation within the trio, who joined forces without reservation. Within the demon suppression army, countless black-rank demon extermination generals stepped up. The elders of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy and South Sun Martial Academy also descended from their battleships, hunting down the sea beasts. The human race's flesh was greatly beneficial to the sea beasts to advance their strength and purify their bloodline. And these sea beasts could also be considered as a resource for human cultivation. The 3 of you are not strong enough. Stay in the battleship. Lu Yun intercepted by Hao Xuan, Gu Yuan, and Bailey Yi as they showed an inclination to join the battle. Bailey Yi was only at the mid-stage of the transforming origin realm. Gu Yuan and Bai Hao Xuan were just at the late stage of the same realm. The weakest of the sea beasts below was of the 5th rank, making it too dangerous for them to join the fight. As the Martial Academy's saint child, he wouldn't let them jeopardize their lives. But Bai Hao Xuan gazed at the sea beasts, his heart filled with longing. If he could procure the flesh of some high-level sea beasts, his chances of advancing to the peak of Tao Meridian Transformation realm would improve. Gu Yuan and Bailey Yi also had similar thoughts, but they also understood their limitations. Wait for me to return. Lu Yun naturally noticed their aspirations. He also believed they weren't strong enough and needed to improve. Otherwise, they could easily fall in the upcoming battles. I've already consumed lots of human flesh. If given enough time to digest it all, my strength will advance significantly. I need to leave this place as quickly as possible. A sea lion darted swiftly through the mountains. It paid no attention to the sea crab on the verge of transcendence or the other sea beasts. It was always very cautious and careful. When Wei Zongqing appeared, it had already started to retreat. Where do you think you're going? The sun fell from the sky, dazzling the sea lion that could hardly keep its eyes open. However, it could vaguely sense that it was a human emanating a scintillating golden light. The brilliance illuminated the mountains in an astonishing show of power. Behind him seemed to be an endless golden ocean, immense and profound. The surges emitted an extraordinarily intimidating prestige. A human origin fluid realm martial artist. The sea lion finally adapted to the abrupt golden light and recognized the human's aura. Chapter 330. Chapter 330. Chapter 198. Fist, killing a sea lion, fierce. Chapter 330. Chapter 198. Fist killing a sea lion. Fierce, please continue reading on X and 0VL. M. Battle with the deep-sea giant shark. Just an origin fluid realm trying to stop me? Seeking death. The sea lion snaps back to reality, its mouth spewing thunder, its eyes flashing divine light, with overwhelming pressure as deep as the ocean sweeping towards Lu Yun, creating a shocking, monstrous wave. The origin fluid realm is just the 5th realm of the human race, equivalent to a 5th rank sea beast. In its view, it can easily suppress him with a wave of its hand. Lu Yun's single-handed press sets off the turbulent 250 m of primordial sea behind him, dazzling with golden light, and the vast momentum descending like an entire world. Morning winds howled, pure yang strong origin shone like a blazing sun, scorching the sky, illuminating everything. The sky turned bright, forcing the sea lion's massive body to retreat, causing the ground beneath its feet to crack. How can a human be so strong? The sea lion's deep eyes changed color. Just by judging from the brief clash, it sensed immense pressure from Lu Yun. This pressure, even when faced with top sixth realm human powerhouses, has never been so great. Kill. Lu Yun responds with only one word. Lu Yun beckons with one hand, and a golden light glides out from the void behind him, transforming into a magnificent giant sword, slashing down. Seeing this, the sea lion doesn't dare underestimate it, and hurriedly dodges, narrowly avoiding the strike. Behind it, a towering mountain peak cracks in half with a crisp sound. Lu Yun continuously summons, and 8 golden lights fly out from the emptiness behind him, turning into 8 enormous sword lights, forming into an arc and chasing the fleeing sea lion. Wherever the sea lion escapes, it is pursued. Along the way, one mountain peak after another is effortlessly cut open, accompanied by thunderous roars. This human is terrifyingly powerful. Today's matter may be difficult to end well. I must fight with all my might. Seeing the 9 giant swords following behind, the sea lion's eyes flicker with cold light, stealing its heart, no longer fleeing, but spewing a crystal ball from its mouth, only the size of a fist, shimmering and radiant. It suddenly expands, forming a turquoise water curtain. This crystal ball, created by grinding the powerful sea beast's eyeball from the deep sea, is solid green and forms an unrivaled defensive water curtain when sacrificed. Ding, ding, ding. The 9 transformed giant swords fall on the water curtain, causing waves, but aren't able to break it open. With this treasure, I'm invincible. Human, don't bother entangling any further. Seeing the crystal ball successfully blocking his opponent's attack, the sea lion breathes a sigh of relief, its speech carrying a hint of arrogance. However, at this moment, Lu Yun summons back the 9 golden swords on his back with a wave of his hand. They merge, reunion of 99, forming an even larger golden giant sword, radiating supreme golden light, carrying the power of splitting heaven and earth and slashing down again. The turquoise water curtain trembles, rippling with radiant light, almost shattering. Cut again. Lu Yun's primordial sea surges from behind him, and the powerful pure yang strong origin enters the reunion of 99 golden sword, making its light and momentum even more intense and slashing downward. Boom! The huge sword falls, enveloping the utmost power, causing heaven and earth to tremble. The surrounding mountain peaks crack under the powerful aftershocks. Crack! Finally, the turquoise water curtain that bore the brunt of the impact shatters, and the crystal ball breaks apart completely. A once invincible treasure is destroyed in an instant. The sea lion roars, going completely mad. This was its most precious treasure, which it had cultivated for more than a decade, but today it is destroyed in such a way, making its eyes turn red with anger erupting in its heart, throwing away all caution from before. I will fight you to the death. Fury pushes the sea lion to the edge of madness, bellowing as it lunges at Lu Yun. Nothing but a fearless struggle. Lu Yun coldly retorts, the primordial sea surging, like a scorching sun, charging out. Boom! Golden light shines brilliantly, divine power bursts forth. Lu Yun punches out, red sun breaks the sky, boundless power and force scattering the sea lion's assault. Then, his fist leaves a mark on its head. Spluttering, the sea lion's massive body flies sideways, divine power completely erupting and exploding in the sky. Absolute dominance, total suppression. This meat is useless to me. You guys can eat it. Lu Yun single-handedly supports the sea lion's massive body, landing on the warship, looking towards the people of Flying Spirit Martial Academy. His physical strength and power have far exceeded those of the Gold Body Realm martial artists. Ordinary sixth-rank sea beasts are of little use to him, but for the disciples of Flying Spirit Martial Academy, it is an excellent supplement, especially Bailey E. by Haoshuan and Gu Yuan, their hearts filled with gratitude as they salute Lu Yun. Thank you, Saint Child. Xiao Guiyun also salutes gratefully. The energy within this sixth-rank mid-stage sea lion's flesh is of great help to him. Lu Yun nods slightly, waving his hand, and a golden light flashes across the sea lion's body. In an instant, the sea lion's massive body is divided into 8 parts and placed in front of Qiu Guiyun, Bailey E, Gu Yuan, and the others. Seeing this, the independent martial cultivators and demon suppression army soldiers are envious, giving away a 6th-rank sea beast's corpse like it's nothing. That's incredibly generous. At the same time, they are even more astonished by Lu Yun's strength. The 6th-rank mid-stage sea lion was virtually killed without resistance. A thought arises in their hearts, unparalleled strength, truly worthy of being the Flying Spirit Martial Academy's Saint Child. His renowned reputation is well-deserved. Brother Lu truly has amazing battle prowess, killing a 6th-rank mid-stage sea beast with a single fist. I am in awe of such power. Zhu Qiuye approaches leisurely, a smile in his eyes as he looks at Lu Yun. Just a little strength. Lu Yun answers with a faint smile. Chapter 331, Chapter 331, Chapter 198. Fist, fight with a sea lion, fierce battle with a deep-sea giant shark _2, Chapter 331. Chapter 198, fist fight with a sea lion, fierce battle with a deep-sea giant shark _2. Please continue reading on X and 0 VL. His current cultivation had advanced to the peak of Origin Fluid Realm. Not only had his Yuan high surged to 80 feet, but his body had also become stronger. It was only natural to use Red Sun Breaks the Sky to kill a 6th-rank mid-stage sea beast. Zhu Qiuye's eyes shifted as he looked down at the battle below and said, "The deep-sea giant shark is powerful, and our losses would be significant if it breaks through its current realm. Lu Yun, how about we join forces and take it down?" Lu Yun nodded and smiled. That's what I had in mind. The deep-sea giant shark was already at the limit of the 6th rank, and having devoured the body of a Rune Seed Realm expert, its strength had increased dramatically, bringing it only a step away from the 7th rank breakthrough. Although Lei Kang, Tan Chen, and Shang Tsung were strong, they could barely suppress the deep-sea giant shark at the moment. However, as time went on, the deep-sea giant shark's strength gradually increased, showing signs of being on par with Lei Kang, Tan Chen, and Shang Tsung. Its aura even continued to rise, hinting at the possibility of a breakthrough. As Zhu Qiuye had said, if it managed to successfully advance, it would reach the 7th rank. At that time, the cost of killing it would be too high for them to bear. Today, I will break through, and even if you bring more people, it will be useless. Once I reach the 7th rank, all of you will become my food. The deep-sea giant shark roared, with its massive body squashing the mountains below. Fortunately, this was not the deep sea, as even without the 7th rank breakthrough, Lei Kang, Tan Chen, and Shang Tsung would still be hard-pressed to suppress it. Buzz. Without speaking, Lei Kang's Yuan high roiled, his gold body surged, suppressing the deep-sea giant shark. He raised his hand, and interwoven thunder and lightning struck the shark. Soon after, the thunderous noises crackled, leaving its body charred and scales flared. A huge palm fell from Tan Chen with dazzling patterns and colorful lights on it, filled with a vast flame. This flame was even more powerful than Lu Yun's 4th rank White Lotus flame. Shang Tsung pulled his bow to its maximum tension, and a myriad of golden light points gathered from the depths of the sky, forging an incredibly powerful golden arrow. With a whoosh, the arrow pierced through everything, targeting the eye of the deep-sea giant shark. The combined attacks of the three Golden Body Realm Peak experts, Lei Kang, Tan Chen, and Shang Tsung, thundered through the sky, shaking the clouds and crushing several low, nearby mountains. Boom! Thunderbolts ran rampant, golden light filled the sky, and flames spread all over. Under these terrifying attacks, the massive body of the deep-sea giant shark surfaced once more. Its jet-black body looked like a massive black hole amidst the vast lights, appearing extremely deep and horrifying. Its solitary, eye coldly staring at Lei Kang and the others in the sky. The numerous tiny, unseen special scales on its body flickered with cold light, absorbing the residual thunderbolt energy. Lei Kang, Tan Chen, and Shang Tsung all had sinking hearts. Although they had high expectations of the deep-sea giant shark, its physical power still exceeded their calculations. Their intense attacks didn't have much of an effect, and even seemed to have helped the shark absorb energy faster. If you insist on this, don't leave, stay here. Once I devour one of you, I might be able to greatly shorten the time it takes for me to advance, roared the deep-sea giant shark. Lei Kang snorted coldly. I would like to see, is it you who devours us or us who eradicates you? Hearing this, the deep-sea giant shark laughed. Its laughter was extremely hoarse and unpleasant. Eradicating me? You've already missed the best opportunity. Now that I've already consumed more than half of that human race rune seed realm expert's body, my physique has reached its limit. Your attacks can't even break my flesh. Once I devour one of you, my bloodline will mutate, and I will successfully advance to the 7th rank. At that time, none of you will be able to escape. As it spoke, the deep-sea giant shark's massive body suddenly churned, the giant tail swinging toward Lei Kang, who was in the sky. At the same time, a beam of deep black light shot out in an arc toward Shang Tsung and Tan Chen. The enormous electricity caused the air to rip apart as the bright light scattered and formed a dense black net. This time, the deep-sea giant shark launched an attack for the first time. Before this, it had either dodged or defended. Now that its offense and defense had reversed, it was clear that its previous words were true. Its physical power had reached its current limit. Without thinking much, Lei Kang stretched out his hand and grasped a huge Sumeru hammer that appeared out of thin air. On it flickered golden thunder, with vast runes emerging and spreading over the Sumeru hammer. Though it was impossible to manifest runes without rune seeds, Lei Kang could still unleash their power via weapons. He infused the Sumeru hammer with 72 law runes, causing the hammer's black body to change and its golden thunderbolts to become even more immense. Great Sumeru Thunder Hammer. Lei Kang held the end of the hammer handle with both hands and swung it around a large circle in the sky, forming a sea of golden thunderbolts before colliding it with the deep-sea giant shark's attack. The energy from the shark's tail and Lei Kang's thunderous sea violently collided, causing the light in the sky to bend, as if being absorbed by some terrifying force. Chapter 332. Chapter 332. Chapter 198. Defeating the sea lion with a fist, battling the deep-sea giant shark _3. Chapter 332. Chapter 198. Defeating the sea lion with a fist, battling the deep-sea giant shark _3. Please continue reading on X and 0VL. The energy from the great Sumeru Thunder Hammer and the shark's tail collided, canceling each other out, causing an eerie silence without any sound. Almost in an instant, the dreadful sound of thunder exploded in the deep sky. The unmatched power of lightning sprang from the Sumeru giant hammer, completely pouring into the tail of the giant shark and quickly spreading over its colossal body. HSS, this even hurts me. The deep-sea giant shark fell from the sky, hovering above a giant mountain. Its previously cold and glittery scales turned charred black and lines of lightning were sprouting from it. It seems that on land, even though you're infinitely close to the 7th rank, you aren't that terrifying. Watch how it'll break down your flesh, and have you shed a layer of skin. Lei Kang swung his Sumeru giant hammer, the rune on it twinkling, and the golden lightning replenished itself. Striking it, the powerful thunder shook the sky. According to the cultivation system of the human race, you need to condense rune seeds to match me. Currently, you are merely at the peak of the 6th realm. Trying to tear down my body is almost impossible. A green light flickered on the deep sea giant shark. The previously chilly shimmer flashed again on its fine scales and turned even deeper. It drew out huge energy to seal off a piece of the universe and blocked off the lightning from the Sumeru giant hammer. Lei Kang spoke in a deep voice. If I'm not mistaken, you've been stuck at this realm for hundreds of years. Even though you've been absorbing the energy from the mortals of the rune seed realm, you could not elevate your physique to this degree. Despite being stagnant for hundreds of years, you still couldn't break through. It seems that among your sea beasts, your talent and bloodline aren't among the top. Hence, it wouldn't be easy for you to advance further. However, for a glimmer of a breakthrough chance, you dare to snatch food from the 7th rank sea beast and forcibly swallow the mortal from the rune seed realm in our siege. Such heart and determination, I quite admire it. The deep-sea giant shark showed a hint of insanity in its solitary eye after hearing Lei Kang's words. If I do not reach the 7th rank, it'll forever remain weak, just like how you can't condense rune seeds, and will never be able to step into the top list of the human race. Even as it spoke, it rose into the air quickly, intending to utterly crush its opponent with its powerful physique. With a whir sound behind Lei Kang, a halo appeared. Golden lightning condensed into golden wings, emitting successive gusts of lightning winds, greatly enhancing his speed. He swung his Sumeru giant hammer and advanced instead of retreating. The deep-sea giant shark desired to advance to the 7th rank, and how could Lei Kang not wish to find an opportunity to condense rune seeds through this battle? Both sides harbored their plans and clashed violently. In the deep sky, thunder flickered, and the powerful ripple of energy surged, stirring up waves of terror, causing the boundless rays of the deep sky to twist. Lei Kang fought more fiercely, but it seemed he was still beneath the deep-sea giant shark. His lightning couldn't severely injure it, whereas the opponent was crushing him with its powerful physique and vast energy. Not much later, the law rune on Sumeru giant hammer gradually dimmed and lost its initial power. However, Lei Kang became even crazier. A flash of joy passed through his eyes. I've been stuck at this realm for a full decade now. Today, perhaps, I can break through the bottleneck and condense the rune seeds. Lei Kang's heart churned dramatically. The spirit of battle within him became even more intense, regardless of triggering the law rune, caused the Sumeru giant hammer to shake the sky. Get lost! The deep-sea giant shark's gigantic body covered the sky and obscured the sun. It violently swayed, eliciting vast energy to swallow the power of the Sumeru giant hammer. And then even more terrifying energy was stimulated, completely submerging Lei Kang. Staring at the impressive deep-sea giant shark, Shang Tsung and Tan Chun both inhaled sharply. The monster's aura became increasingly strong. Can they kill it? If not, what will happen to them if this monster successfully advances to 7th rank? We can't hesitate anymore. Otherwise, Elder Lei won't last much longer. A jolt struck Shang Gang's heart. He vigorously triggered the law rune within his body, combined with his powerful bodily strength. He forcefully tore open the black electricity net that wrapped him. Brother Lei, I'm here to help you. He released a crimson sword. Its enveloping flames shaping into a vast sea of fire swiped through the sky and chopped down on the deep-sea giant shark. And me, Shang Tsung used some method to escape the black electricity net, walking in the air. He pulled back his bow and shot an arrow, keeping the sun at his back. Whoosh! A series of golden arrows shot out. A total of 9, known as 9 stars in a row, breaking space, aimed straight at the deep-sea giant shark. Come on, let the attack be more fierce. The deep-sea giant shark bellowed towards the sky, its enormous body surging. Its vast energy was like a stronghold of waves, whipping the void, splashing layer upon layer of ripples. At this moment, whether it was the deep-sea giant shark or Lei Kang, Tan Chun, Shang Tsung, they all completely lost their senses. Chapter 333. Chapter 333. Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through, joining forces to bombard and kill the deep-sea giant shark. Chapter 333. Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through, joining forces to bombard and kill the deep-sea giant shark. Please continue reading on X and 0 VL. Roar. The deep-sea giant shark howled to the heavens, seemingly like a demon, causing the sky and the earth's winds to reverse, rushing upwards. Kill. Lei Kang, Shang Tsung, and Tan Chun, 3 Golden Body Realm Peak level experts, also appeared crazed with determination to kill the deep-sea giant shark. Boom! With an intense collision, the sky erupted with beams of light, golden lightning, extreme flashes of fire, and even broken arrows. Such powerful fluctuations. The might of this battle is not much weaker than that of Rune Seed Realm level battles. Suichoya said softly, looking up at the space above him occupied by the 3 men locked in combat with the deep-sea giant shark. The deep-sea giant shark is getting stronger and stronger. Elder Lei and the others are unable to suppress it. We should make our move now, said Lu Yun as he stepped into the void and felt the thrilling sensation of the high skies becoming a battlefield. Brother Lu, this battle is no small matter. You must give it your all and not hold back. Suichoya reminded him and took action. A wave of white energy followed him as he held his long sword and soared into the sky. Puff! Everyone was shocked. Suichoya, an independent martial cultivator, had unleashed power that was not weaker than Lei Kang and the others. The long sword in his hand emitted a sword radiance that was tens of feet long, and it immediately landed on the body of the deep-sea giant shark, causing its black, deep, cold scales to fall off. No one expected that Suichoya, an independent martial artist, would possess such tremendous power, and that he would join the battle so swiftly and decisively, piercing the powerful defense of the deep-sea giant shark with his own power. Elders, the situation is urgent. I had no choice but to intervene. Otherwise, once this monster breaks through its limits, we would not be able to subdue it again, Suichoya said, his hair flying in the wind, and his clothes fluttering as he explained himself to Lei Kang and the others. Who are you to dare to ambush me? Seek death. The deep-sea giant shark flew into rage as its body shone, and its ruptured scales grew back. The shark then dived down. It was furious, as it had just been injured by a 6th realm late-stage human race martial artist. Although the scales had grown back, it was still shameful for the exceptionally powerful shark. I will devour you alive, the deep-sea giant shark roared, opening its mouth to inhale. It was the same move it had used earlier when swallowing the corpse of a human race rune seed realm expert. Gazing upon the black hole that suddenly appeared in the void, Suichoya's eyes remained bright, but his sword-wielding hand began to tremble. His body shone with a golden light, and his black hair danced wildly. Kill! Suichoya let out a cold snort, his eyes filled with murderous resolve, and he executed a powerful sword strike. Accompanied by a strong rumbling, the black hole with its powerful pull in the void was cut open. With the long sword like a rainbow, Suichoya, like a falling leaf, soared up and fought with the deep-sea giant shark. The afterimages of the sword were heavy, mysterious light flickered as the most powerful impact collided, releasing incomparable brilliance. At this moment, Lu Yun suddenly moved. His movement was incredibly abrupt, with no build-up or preparation, transforming him into a torrential thunderbolt. As light flashed, the dragon scale saber appeared at the forefront. A golden yuan high that was 80 feet long surged, madly pouring in. At the same time, 70% of the fifth rank slaughter conception was unleashed. An extraordinary saber radiance burst out, completely covering Lu Yun's body, utterly transforming him into a celestial rainbow that illuminated the sky. Annihilation. The moment the astonishing Wind Saber Manual's fifth stance was executed, the unparalleled saber light extended again, its brilliance intensifying. In the vast sky, the only visible thing was that unmatched saber light. Lu Yun's body became completely invisible, even to Zhuqiuya, Lei Kang, and the others. In the deep-sea giant shark's single eye, all it could see was the unparalleled saber light piercing through the sky, coming up to completely engulf it. Another ambush, seeking death. The deep-sea giant shark roared furiously, ignoring Zhuqiuya this time and rotating its body. Its tens of feet-long body showed extreme flexibility and terrifying strength as the wind and clouds surged, and the earth trembled. Although it was now very close to the rune seed realm, it still felt a powerful threat from Lu Yun's saber strike. The eruption of 70% of the fifth rank slaughter conception, combined with the surge of the 80 feet yuan high, and the execution of the astonishing Wind Saber Manual's fifth stance, Lu Yun's explosive power had increased by more than 5 times. If such a powerful explosion was not defended against, the deep-sea giant shark's advancement would have to wait a long time. Feeling the threat, the deep-sea giant shark had no choice but to exert all its strength to deal with Lu Yun's saber strike. Boom! The huge shark tail collided relentlessly with the sudden, extraordinary saber radiance. The shark's tail was enveloped in a strong black light, which resembled countless lightning bolts gathered together. The moment the shark tail made contact with the saber light, Lu Yun's saber radiance shattered layer by layer under the impact of the black lightning. However, Lu Yun's strike was not so easily resolved. Although the saber light diffused, and his entire body felt as if it was about to shatter, the dragon scale saber still cut through the shark's scales viciously, breaking through the deep-sea giant shark's defense, and leaving a deep mark on its incredibly sturdy tail. One strike annihilation, although unable to kill the deep-sea giant shark, broke through its terrifying physique in an unprecedented fashion, causing serious injury. Roar! The deep-sea giant shark let out a painful cry. Its colossal body writhed in desperation, releasing a terrifying energy that sent Lu Yun flying away. Faced with such immense energy, Lu Yun did not dare to be careless, especially since he had already landed a significant blow. Naturally, he wouldn't clash head-on with the enemy. His form flickered, instantly teleporting tens of miles away. Chapter 334, Chapter 334, Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through, jointly bombards the deep-sea giant shark, _2, Chapter 334, Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through, jointly bombards the deep-sea giant shark, _2. Please continue reading on X and 0 VL. The deep-sea giant shark was not only fighting against Lu Yun, but also facing the powerful Lei Kang, Shang Tsang, and Tan Chen at the Golden Body Realm's peak, as well as Zhuqiuya, the independent martial cultivator with unparalleled combat capabilities. The moment Lu Yun retreated after completing his technique, the attacks from the 4 people had already arrived from different directions. A Sumeru giant hammer filled with golden lightning fiercely smashed the head of the deep-sea giant shark, as the 9 stars in a row appeared, shattering the deep and cold scales. The dark red sword engulfed more than half of its body with terrifying flames. Wave after wave of attacks rained down on the deep-sea giant shark's body. Even with its abnormal physical strength and horrifying recovery capabilities, it seemed helpless and couldn't resist. The intense pain caused the shark's massive body to convulse. While it was impossible for it to die due to its strong constitution, its many injuries and the excessive energy and vitality it consumed made its hopes of breaking through a mere fantasy. The deep-sea giant shark never imagined that it would lose to two late 6th realm and 1 5th realm peak human opponents. In both pain and anger, the beast roared wildly as its huge body twisted and turned in the sky, each movement unleashing a profound pressure and vast energy like a turbulent ocean. Unfortunately, no matter how furiously it raged, it couldn't escape the combined forces of the 5 opponents. Especially Lei Kang, who had single-handedly fought against the deep-sea giant shark in the beginning. The law runes on him clearly showed a trend towards fusion under extreme pressure. Now, as he continued attacking, this trend became increasingly obvious. At the same time, the enhancement of the Sumeru giant hammer became stronger and stronger. With his body draped in golden lightning, along with his formidable gold body, the energy set into motion by the deep-sea giant shark's struggle couldn't affect him much. The Sumeru giant hammer was filled with law runes, unleashing a terrifying thunderous force as it struck the shark like a mighty mountain. Under fierce attack, the deep-sea giant shark howled continuously. Its miserable cries shook the universe, causing alarm among the demon suppression army and other martial artists aboard the battleship, whose eyes were filled with astonishment. Most of them had low levels of strength and couldn't recognize the battle unfolding in the sky. They could barely sense the intense fluctuations transmitted from afar, knowing that the fight was incredibly dangerous. However, they couldn't tell which side held the advantage. Now, as the deep-sea giant shark's tragic howls echoed, they could make a rough guess about the outcome of the battle. Boom! As though a sun flickered across the sky, another roar of rage erupted from the deep-sea giant shark. A massive chunk of bloody flesh fell violently to the ground, soaked in blood. The fallen flesh, with its lingering might, caved in the distant ground in a collapse. From afar, everyone could sense the dense energy emanating from the bleeding flesh, astonished by its power. After all, the deep-sea giant shark was infinitely close to being a 7th-rank demon beast, with incredibly astonishing energy held within its body. Moreover, it was a high-level energy source. Even just a piece of its flesh would be a great supplement for most martial artists in the transforming origin and origin fluid realms. Ha ha! First come, first served. An independent martial cultivator at the origin fluid realm dove down, heading towards the location of the fallen flesh at a rapid speed. Such a replenishing treasure must not be missed. Xiao Gaian's eyes flashed with a radiant light as he darted towards the same spot. At the same time, numerous martial artists aboard the battleship began to fly towards that location. However, the demon suppression army remained still. Unlike disciples of the martial academy or independent martial cultivators, they were known for their strict adherence to orders. Without commands from their superiors, they would not dare act rashly. Additionally, they believed that the general would not mistreat them. Roar! At this moment, almost half of the massive dorsal fin on the deep-sea giant shark's back had been slashed off, causing it to howl angrily in the sky, thrashing its body around wildly. The agonizing pain that had penetrated its bones had completely robbed it of any rational thought. It must be noted that it was a deep-sea giant shark, and the most critical part of its body was the dorsal fin. Losing half of it ruined the balance of its massive body, which was incredibly infuriating and maddening for the shark. Die! I want all of you to die! The deep-sea giant shark's rationality had been entirely replaced by pain and madness. It completely abandoned the idea of advancing further, and instead mobilized its vast energy and vitality, allowing a green light to engulf its massive body and heal its bodily injuries. Seeing the shark's actions, Lu Yun and the others revealed a pleased smile on their faces. As long as the deep-sea giant shark couldn't break through, their combined forces would be sufficient to kill it. In a flash, an immense surge of energy erupted from the head of the deep-sea giant shark. At that moment, the shark's body, more than 40 meters long, seemed to freeze in midair. Dense black lightning enveloped its entire body, accompanied by a faint golden light that made the shark's surface appear like crystalline black gold. Simultaneously, the pressure emanating from the shark's body became even more powerful, making those far away tremble with fear. Although it has lost the opportunity to advance to the 7th rank, it has indeed reached the extreme limit of the 6th rank, Suichuya remarked quietly upon seeing the current state of the shark. As long as it is not a true 7th rank, what can it do? Lei Kang felt that he was getting closer and closer to condensing rune seeds, and became increasingly ferocious in his attacks. He paid no mind to the deep-sea giant shark, which had reversed its vitality and recovered to its peak state as he swung the Sumeru giant hammer and charged forward. However, before he could get close to the shark, 9 black and gold lightning bolts, as thick as water barrels, fell from the sky. Chapter 335. Chapter 335. Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through. Chapter 335. Chapter 199. Lei Kang breaks through. Please continue reading on X and 0 VL. M jointly bombards the deep-sea giant shark _3. Get lost. After Lei Kang shouted out a single word, he swung the Sumeru giant hammer, directly splitting apart the several thunderbolts and heavily hitting the deep-sea giant shark's body. The moment the two extremely intense thunderbolts of different attributes collided, Lei Kang felt his entire body go numb, and the Sumeru giant hammer almost got wrested away. What a terrifying thunderbolt! Its power has increased by at least 50% compared to before. Feeling the unparalleled thunderbolt, Lei Kang was horrified in his heart. At the same time, his body quickly retreated. At this moment, he realized that he alone could not take down the deep-sea giant shark. However, just as he retreated, the deep-sea giant shark's body, which seemed to be made of condensed black gold crystals, trembled, and numerous black gold thunderbolts bloomed, forming a gargantuan net that swept towards Lei Kang. Lu Yun and the others had not even had time to react when the black gold thunder net contracted at an unparalleled speed, trapping Lei Kang within in an instant. Seeing this, everyone's face showed horror. Lei Kang, a powerful manipulator of thunder, was now trapped in a lightning cage by the deep-sea giant shark, an astoundingly shocking development. Everyone, be careful! The deep-sea giant shark's power, OFS carat, a controlled transformation skiang _ has mutated and greatly increased. Suichuya shouted, a long sword overflowing with radiant light slashing at the black gold lightning cage. However, it failed to shake it. Do you think that if you interrupt my promotion, you will have a chance? Indeed, I cannot advance to the 7th rank, but with my powerful accumulation and stored energy, my strength has grown even stronger. As for that human race trapped in my death cage, he is doomed to die. You cannot save him. Hearing the voice of the deep-sea giant shark, Lu Yun's face immediately sank. At this moment, Tan Chun had already arrived behind him, and the scorching flames illuminated the sky of fiery red. Tan Chen's voice rang in Lu Yun's ears. Don't be impulsive. We just need to join forces to kill it, and we can save Brother Lei. Lu Yun nodded his head. He didn't know the extent of the deep-sea giant shark's strength at this moment, but he absolutely could not be reckless now. Although his attack power was strong, his overall strength was at the bottom among the group. He had to be careful and cautious. He also firmly believed that Lei Kang could hold out. At this moment, Shang Tsung, who maintained absolute calm, pulled back the great bow, the runes interweaving, the aura elevating to the peak. As a peak gold body realm archer, long-range attacks were his greatest advantage, and the deep-sea giant shark's massive body was undoubtedly the best target. However, at this time, his arrow with interweaving runes and his highly concentrated spirit were not just to shoot down the deep-sea giant shark. He aimed at the shark's single eye. As the runes flickered, and the arrow was still on the bowstring, the power of heaven and earth it attracted was terrifyingly immense, vast like waves, rippling like a tidal wave, making people involuntarily tremble. We will join forces and hold it back, creating an opportunity for General Shang's arrow. Tan Chun, experienced and perceptive, immediately saw the power of Shang Gang's arrow and its target and shouted. The crimson sword in his hand flipped, creating a sea of fire to blockade all directions, intending to prevent the deep-sea giant shark from escaping. Kill! Zhuqiwai's sword radiance became even more intense, like a divine light descending from beyond the realm, unstoppable and irresistible. Lu Yun also pushed his yuan high to the extreme, the 7/10 of the 5th rank slaughter conception fully flaring on the dragon scale saber, unleashing his most powerful strike, unparalleled blood blade. One blade and one sword, as if two separate worlds descended, the bloody blade Qi, and the dazzling sword Qi, unstoppable and overwhelming. Puff, puff, sounds echoed successively. The deep-sea giant shark roared furiously within the endless sea of fire, its body emanating black gold lightning that destroyed the sea of fire. However, before it could feel relieved, its dark and deep scales were cracked open with a thunderous crack, chunks of flesh flew off, and even its recently regenerated dorsal fin was once again cut off. While fighting over the massive piece of flesh containing energy on the ground below, suddenly a powerful fluctuation pulsed through the air, catching their attention. Looking up, they saw streaks of light falling from the sky at an extremely fast speed. Pure and broken flesh. As long as I get a piece, I can shorten the time it will take me to advance to the gold body realm by half a year. On the ground, Qiu Guyun looked at the rapidly falling flesh, his eyes filled with extreme madness. This piece is mine. This piece is mine. For a moment, the people on the ground started fighting once again, not noticing another intense fluctuation in the air above. Whoosh! There was no 9 stars in a row, only a single pure arrow. The arrow, accompanied by a booming divine sound, dazzling and breathtaking in its magnificence, erupted with the fastest power in the world, piercing into the single eye of the deep-sea giant shark. Blood surged and flew like sprinkling rain, and a harsh, ear-splitting scream roared out. The powerful sound waves shook the void, creating layers of ripples. Sensing the terrifying power of the sound waves, Lu Yun and the others quickly retreated. As for Shang Tsung, it seemed that the arrow had drained most of his energy. After the arrow broke through the air, he looked even weaker. Now, with the terrifying sound waves approaching and unable to dodge in time, his body was directly battered by the sound waves. His powerful gold body almost cracked apart, and golden blood flowed continuously. The deep-sea giant shark roared in anger as black gold lightning surged like a crazy torrent, forming numerous thunder snakes that filled the heavens and earth. Lu Yun, Zhuqiwai, and Tan Chun saw this and rushed forward together. At this moment, the 3 of them had no choice but to charge forward. Lei Kang was trapped, his life or death unknown. The black-rank demon extermination general of the Demon Suppression Army was heavily injured and no longer able to fight. Now, only the 3 of them could step up. In the depths of the sky, the deep-sea giant shark frantically thrashed, its scales continuously falling off as blood rains spilled across the sky. Lu Yun and the other 2 were not faring any better, all of them injured and faint traces of black gold lightning crawling on their bodies. Die. All of you deserve to die. Only by devouring you all can I make up for my loss. The deep-sea giant sharks bled from its already pierced eye, but could still sense their positions through the black gold lightning. Today, death comes for you, vile beast. Divine light shifted, and an even more powerful thunderous force descended with a bang. Lu Yun and the others looked on in astonishment as Lei Kang somehow broke free from the lightning cage's shackles and appeared above the deep-sea giant shark, wielding the Sumeru giant hammer and summoning a sea of golden thunder, crashing it down with force. Runes interwove like galaxies, and thunder surged in waves, one after another. Deafening roars echoed, and blood spilled. Lei Kang and the Sumeru giant hammer merged as one, the runes and laws automatically manifesting themselves. Brother Lei successfully condensed a rune seed. Watching Lei Kang ascend to the realm of the invincible, displaying an unyielding, supreme temperament, Tan Chen's face showed amazement and envy. To condense a rune seed, he had immersed himself in this realm for more than a decade, still unable to glimpse the means to break through. Yet now, he witnessed a fellow cultivator break through the bottleneck, condensing a rune seed with one move, and his emotions were undoubtedly complex. This guy is indeed troublesome, but now that I've condensed a rune seed, let's see how long you can hold on. Lei Kang shouted, waving the Sumeru giant hammer and continuously bombarding the deep-sea giant shark. Kill! Lu Yun and the other two charged forth again upon seeing this. The deep-sea giant shark was heavily injured, but its life force was astonishingly vast. Its roars shook the heavens, as if the sky itself was trembling. Awash in white light, Zuichilya held a long sword that emitted sword radiance, traversing the heavens and earth. Each strike that landed on the deep-sea giant shark left a horrifying wound. Azure even more so, Lu Yun radiated with golden divine brilliance. Behind him, 250 m of primordial sea surged wildly, making him appear like a grand sun pressing down on the sky, shimmering with golden light. The four formidable warriors launched fierce and relentless attacks, their ferocious assaults descending in concentrated waves, enveloping the massive body of the deep-sea giant shark. Chapter 336, Chapter 336, Chapter 200, The Top Battlefield, Heavenly Pride of the Sea of Clouds Sect. Chapter 336, Chapter 200, The Top Battlefield, Heavenly Pride of the Sea of Clouds Sect. Please continue reading on X0VL. The deep-sea giant shark, despite its boundless vitality, found its life force dissipating under the siege of four powerful warriors, especially Lei Kang, a mighty practitioner who had condensed rune seeds. He wielded the Sumeru giant hammer and broke through the black gold-colored thunderbolts condensed on the surface of the deep-sea giant shark with his extremely powerful golden thunderbolts. Even with its formidable body and defense, the deep-sea giant shark could no longer resist the onslaught of everyone's attacks. As its life force was extinguished, swords and knives were added, cutting out strips of flesh. Blocks of meat full of powerful energy fell from the sky, attracting many martial artists on the ground who scrambled to claim them. The deep-sea giant shark's body was enormous, about dozens of feet long. The powerful energy contained in each piece of its flesh made it a supreme blood-flesh treasure, extremely tempting to the many martial artists. Finally, a corpse stretched across the horizon fell from the sky with a loud rumble and crashed down, shaking the mountains and causing even the high-altitude warships to sway slightly. Elder Lei is mighty. Saint Child is invincible. On the ground, the people of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, seeing Lu Yun and others bathed in golden light and walking through the air, were extremely excited. The powerful deep-sea giant shark was killed, and their Flying Spirit Martial Academy had exerted the greatest effort. Everyone, my Flying Spirit Martial Academy, wants 1/3 of the deep-sea giant shark's flesh. Is that a problem? Lu Yun's gaze swept over Tianchen, Shangtsung, and Zhuoqiuya. The Flying Spirit Martial Academy has contributed the most in this battle, so this distribution is only fair. Shangtsung didn't think much, and readily agreed. After taking a 6th grade pill, his condition had improved somewhat, his complexion becoming more ruddy. However, he still hadn't fully recovered, so his speech lacked strength. Zhuoqiuya chuckled. I don't care. I don't want the deep-sea giant shark's flesh, but I want all of its essence blood. Essence blood is considered the most precious part of the deep-sea giant shark's body. However, even a 6th rank limit sea beast like this one only had a pitiful amount of essence blood in its body, at most about 30 or 40 drops. Compared to the gigantic corpse's flesh, this bit of essence blood wasn't all that valuable, so the others readily agreed. In the end, Tianchen also got a portion of the flesh, but the majority went to the Demon Suppression Army. This battle was led by the Demon Suppression Army, and Shangtsung had indeed paid a great price. The distribution couldn't be more reasonable. By now, Wei Zongcheng's battle with the 7th rank sea cattle hadn't ended yet, and the people on the warship began digesting their loot from this battle. The disciples of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy had obtained a large amount of flesh from the deep-sea giant shark, so they immediately set up pots and started fires. As the aroma of meat filled the air, they popped the juicy pieces into their mouths and began digesting them. As befitting a 6th rank limit sea beast, the energy contained within it was extremely vast. Before long, Bailey E., Gu Yuan, and Bai Haoshuan all advanced a sub-level in their respective cultivation realms. Afterward, they used blood from the deep-sea giant shark for body tempering in order to strengthen and solidify their current realms. Now, even in the early stages of Origin Fluid Realm, I can fight. Bailey E. felt the powerful true origin inside him and murmured to himself. On the other hand, Gu Yuan and Bai Haoshuan both reached the peak of the transforming origin realm, their auras becoming extraordinarily refined. Especially Gu Yuan, his powerful aura even faintly surpassed some of the martial artists in the origin fluid realm. Whether it was Gu Yuan or Bailey E. at just 13 or 14 years old, their auras already rivaled those of martial artists in the origin fluid realm, making them absolute prodigies. Usually, heavenly pride at their age hovered between the true Qi realm and the transforming origin realm. In addition, Qiu Guyun, a genius in the peak of the origin fluid realm, made another progress in his aura, taking him one step closer to breaking through to the gold body. Seeing that everyone in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy had gained something, Lu Yun also showed a delighted expression. Boom, boom, boom. The battle between Wei Zongqing and the sea cattle was becoming more intense, at the level of one person and one beast. As long as there isn't a huge gap in strength, even if they fight for several days, they may not necessarily determine the life and death outcome. Besides, the sea cattle had thick skin and a robust constitution, which meant Wei Zongcheng's attacks left only some wounds on it, unable to inflict any fatal injuries. It's a pity that the difference between us and the Rune Seed realm is too great. Otherwise, we could help General Wei slay this sea beast. Tianchen sighed softly. Among the group, only Lei Kang, who had condensed rune seeds, was barely qualified to join the battle. Unfortunately, Lei Kang had just condensed the rune seeds and was in the process of stabilizing his realm. As the final, most top-notch mid-level rune had been condensed, Wei Zongcheng's strength was astonishing. He saw him soaring into the sky, drawing countless runes that all converged on a silver-white spear. The spear pierced through, giving off a sense of being able to penetrate anything. With a soft sound, it pierced through the chest of the sea cattle, leaving a bloody hole from front to back. Blood spurted like a fountain, splashing everywhere. Human, you wait for me, I will surely take revenge. The sea cattle stomped fiercely on the void, causing the emptiness to tremble. taking advantage of the powerful impact. It quickly fled. Don't even think about running. Wei Zongqing reached out a hand, and the black mountain seal turned into a streak of light flying out. It then quickly enlarged and turned into a giant mountain that was several hundred feet tall, crashing down with an earth-shaking sound. The sea cattle couldn't dodge it and was struck squarely. Its body, as large as a mountain, fell to the ground and collided with a nearby upright peak, causing it to retreat with a loud rumble. The black mountain seal continued to fall, and it seemed as if it would completely suppress the 7th rank sea cattle. Boom! The sea cattle stomped on the ground, and within tens of miles, the earth instantly cracked. Countless boulders and blocks of soil flew into the air, blocking the rapidly falling black mountain seal, while the sea cattle took advantage of the force from its stomp to quickly escape. Chapter 337, Chapter 337, Chapter 200, Top Battlefield, Cloud C-Sex Heavenly Pride _2, Chapter 337, Chapter 200, Top Battlefield, Cloud C-Sex Heavenly Pride _2. Please continue reading on X and 0VL. Seeing this scene, Wei Zongqing's brow furrowed slightly, unable to catch up in time. His usage of the black mountain seal was limited to the surface and could not unleash its full power. Otherwise, the sea beast would have been unable to escape. However, most of the blood gushing from the sea beast was collected by Wei Zongqing, who flew back to the warship. With a flick of his sleeve, the blood rained down and covered the entire demon suppression army. After being bathed in the blood of a 7th rank sea beast, the auras of the 8,000 demon suppression army soldiers grew stronger. After the blood purification was completed, Wei Zongqing ordered, "Keep moving forward." At his command, the warship slowly started moving. The White Mountain domain was vast, almost the same size as Ling Province, and it had many affiliated sects belonging to the White Lotus sect. Unknowingly, another 2 days had passed. This time, Wei Zongqing discovered something again, his face full of murderous intent. "There's a massive battle fluctuation 2,000 miles ahead. Let's go and check." At this moment, strong battle fluctuations occurring here were likely the demon suppression army uprooting forces under the command of the White Lotus sect. Having just annihilated the Black Mountain sect, it was their duty to help other demon suppression armies deal with the enemy. Another battle. On the warship, many martial artists showed their fighting spirit. After every sect extermination battle, as long as they survived, the gains were enough to sustain their cultivation for 10 or more years. Lu Yun's face showed a slight change as he sensed the strong battle fluctuations in the distance. There were at least several auras belonging to Rune Seed Realm experts. From this, it could be seen that the overall strength of this sect was much stronger than the Black Mountain sect. Even if the Black Mountain sect had been glorious in the past, they only had 2 half-step Rune Seed Realm experts. In comparison to true Rune Seed Realm experts, there was no contest. Moreover, the Black Mountain sect had declined for a long time. The elders and disciples were not very powerful, and there were only a handful of experts in the Golden Body realm. According to Lu Yun's perception, there were at least 5 or 6 Rune Seed Realm aura fluctuations in the distant, powerful battlefield. As for the Golden Body realm aura fluctuations, there were even more. As expected, Wei Zonghai slowly said, "Get ready. There's a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert here. Don't get involved in the deeper battles." As his words fell, he leaped up, holding the Black Mountain seal, and flew towards the battlefield in the sky. This battlefield was extremely dangerous for him as well. It would take at least 5 to 7 mid-stage Rune Seed Realm experts to deal with a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert. However, he had the treasure like the Black Mountain seal. Even a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert couldn't crush him easily. What? There's a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert. Upon hearing this, everyone was shocked. if there was a late-stage rune seed realm expert, would there be a shortage of other rune seed realm experts? With such powerful presences in this kind of battlefield, it was indeed a super battlefield. Even Golden Body realm experts were in extreme danger, let alone them. Zwochilya said, "Ahead is the most powerful subordinate force of the White Lotus sect, the Cloud Sea sect. It is rumored that they have 6 rune seed realm experts, but it is unknown how many are left now. At present, most of the powerful experts of the White Lotus sect's subordinate forces had been forcibly conscripted to deal with the massive invasion of the Demon Suppression Army. Even the Black Mountain sect, which did not have any rune seed realm experts, was subject to forced conscription. Naturally, the Cloud Sea sect, being the most powerful subordinate force, did not escape. However, the Black Mountain sect had just made a decision and was immediately wiped out by Wei Zongqing leading the Demon Suppression Army and numerous martial artists. From afar, people on the warships could hear the fierce fighting. Moreover, in the distant depths of the sky, there were continuous strong fluctuations and a dazzling sea of runes billowing, occasionally releasing thunderous sounds. Many Origin Fluid Realm and Transforming Origin Realm martial artists swallowed nervously, their faces pale, secretly deciding not to touch the deeper parts of the battlefield. For ordinary martial artists, they were considered powerful, but in such a battlefield, they were no different from cannon fodder. A random Golden Body realm expert could easily kill them, and if they were caught in the aftermath of a Rune Seed realm expert's attack, nothing would be left of them. Their sole purpose was to exterminate the living forces of the 100 sects. Finally, the warships slowly came to a halt at the edge of the battlefield. What kind of battlefield is this? As far as the eye can see, full of scars, strong, murderous atmosphere boundless, almost extending to the end of the sky. The sounds of fighting were like the roar of mountains and seas, and everywhere there were extreme killings and grisly corpses. Watch out! At this moment, Lei Kang soared into the sky, punching out with thunder flashing. Crack! A small peak falling from the sky was bombarded into pieces, scattering everywhere. This half of the mountain peak was flown from more than 10 miles away, where 2 half-step Rune Seed realm fighters were battling. The half-step Rune Seed realm fighter from Cloud Sea sect stabbed a spear into a 100-meter-high mountain, used a law rune, lifted the mountain, and smashed it toward a top-tier black-rank demon extermination general from the Demon Suppression Army. This black-rank demon extermination general slashed with a knife, cutting the law rune on the mountain peak in half, and the mountain peak was also split in half by the powerful strike. This level of combat is simply too dangerous. A shivering independent martial cultivator at the Origin Fluid Realm said it was his first time facing such a terrifying battlefield, and even when he had flattened the Black Mountain sect some time ago, he had stayed away from the Golden Body Realm. Well, go help too. Lei Kang, Tan Chun, and Shang Tsung looked at each other and moved toward the depths of the battlefield. Be careful. With this sentence, Zwochilya headed towards the depths of the battlefield. At the same time, other independent martial cultivators at the Golden Body Realm followed. The depths of the battlefield were the entrance to the Cloud Sea sect's mountain gate, and only by entering there could one gain anything. Demon Suppression Army, listen to my orders, kill all the Cloud Sea sect's disciples. Not one should be spared. After Wei Zongqing left, Shang Tsung was the strongest among the Demon Suppression Army, and other black-rank demon extermination generals were also willing to obey his orders. This time, Lu Yun had also become smart, wanting to gain something. He had to follow those independent cultivators. He glanced back at the people of Flying Spirit Martial Academy and fixed his gaze on Bailey E. Gu Yuan and Bai Haoxuan. You three, try to stick together and don't go too deep into the battlefield. We will follow the Saint Child's orders. Although they were talented and had strong combat power, they were still at a lower realm and once they encountered top-class fighters from the Origin Fluid Realm or Golden Body Realm, they had almost no chance of surviving. Moreover, as disciples of the martial academy, they wouldn't lack cultivation techniques and resources, so there was no need for them to push themselves like independent martial cultivators. Their goal was to hone their own strength by fighting against warriors of the same level. At this moment, a Gold Body Realm Peak and 2 Gold Body Realm Middle and later stage fighters from the Cloud Sea sect came over and attacked. Lu Yun, you deal with the Golden Body Realm Peak, and I'll handle the other 2 Golden Body Realm late-stage cultivators. One of the heavenly pride that Lu Yun initially sensed was Zhong Lingshu, a disciple of the South Sun Martial Academy. He said to Lu Yun. Lu Yun glanced at the 3 individuals. The Gold Body Realm Peak powerhouse was a middle-aged man in a black robe with a solemn killing intent on his face, exuding extreme strength. The other 2 young men, one in the Gold Body Realm Middle Stage, and one in the Gold Body Realm Late Stage, both had extremely condensed breaths, especially the Gold Body Realm Late Stage young man, who had angular features and a clear-cut face. Even after experiencing intense battles, his breath remained stable. Moreover, Lu Yun had a feeling that even the Gold Body Realm Peak powerhouse seemed to hold this young man in high regard. Noticing this situation, Lu Yun kindly reminded him, "Can you stop them?" "Don't worry," Zhong Lingshu confidently said, as he was the #1 talent in the South Sun Martial Academy, with unparalleled talent and great strength. In the entire Ling province, there were definitely no more than a handful of people of the same age with greater strength than him, so he had great confidence in his own abilities. In fact, he could also see that the 2 young men were not simple, and they might be heavenly pride who had emerged from the Cloud Sea sect. Only by fighting against real heavenly pride would he be able to fulfill his true intentions. Chapter 338, Chapter 338, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Detonation, Chapter 338, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Detonation. Please continue reading on X and 0VL. This youth was dressed in brocade robes, with waterfall-like hair, a strong physique, and an indescribable aura that seemed to radiate from him as he walked slowly. His face was resolute, his left hand resting behind him, and his right hand holding a sword with a cold radiance on its blade, creating waves of sword chi that seemed to blend in with the surrounding atmosphere. He was the heavenly pride of the Cloud Sea sect, Yun Hailiang, and behind him there seemed to be an unbeatable will. Standing by Yun Hailiang were 2 people. One was a peak Golden Body Realm elder, and the other a mid-stage Golden Body Realm disciple, both of whom had more or less injuries on their bodies. They were from the Cloud Sea sect, the strongest among the subordinate forces of the White Lotus sect. But at this moment, they faced a great crisis. The demon suppression army descended from the sky, sealing off tens of thousands of miles in the vicinity of the Cloud Sea sect. They had fought their way out of the encirclement. During the course of this, they had lost many elite disciples and powerful elders. Now, only the 3 of them were left. As they were about to break through the encirclement, they were once again blocked by enemies. "Those who block me will die." Yun Hailiang's eyes suddenly burst with a sword radiance, his intense killing intent causing the surrounding air to tremble, shattering the dense killing intent that enveloped the area ahead. Zhong Lingshu looked at Yun Hailiang and the other mid-stage Golden Body Realm, disciple of the Cloud Sea sect, showing no anger, and calmly said, "Among the heavenly prides of the younger generation in Ling province, few have spoken to me with such a tone." Upon hearing this, the expression of the black-robed elder tightened as he released the momentum of the peak Golden Body Realm, suppressing the surrounding area and shouting, "Hailiang, you go first, I will stay behind." Facing the most outstanding heavenly pride of the younger generation in Ling province, he had to be cautious. As for Lu Yun, he had already completely ignored him. "Old geezer, am not your opponent." Zhong Lingshu sneered, and then turned his head to Lu Yun and said, "Brother Lu, leave this old fellow to you." "All right." Lu Yun didn't mind. In his perception, this old man was even easier to deal with. Just an origin fluid realm, seeking death. The black-robed elder took a step forward, and the air roared as he reached out his hand and pressed down with a palm, intending to kill Lu Yun in one fell swoop before blocking Zhong Lingshu to create a chance for the two heavenly prides of the sect to escape. As a result, he did not give Lu Yun any chance to fight back with his powerful attack. However, in the next moment, his expression changed dramatically. Lu Yun stepped on the ground. His yuan high surged, his aura origin was vigorous, golden light flickered, and a fist like the sun broke through the sky. How could he be so strong? Defeated by one punch, the black-robed elder stumbled, losing his soul. Lu Yun was merely at the pinnacle of the origin fluid realm, yet his displayed power and strength were not inferior to the peak of the golden body realm. This fighting prowess crossed a whole realm. The higher the realm, the harder it was to transcend levels. Even the heavenly pride he vowed to protect. Yun Haoliang could only transcend one realm. Lu Yun did not care about the other party's shock and sent another terrifyingly powerful giant fist flying. Boom, boom, boom. It was like a thunderstorm of huge explosions. The surrounding mountains trembled, and the astonishing energy storm was like a surging tidal wave sweeping through the area. Countless towering trees were uprooted, and the towering rocks broke apart in midair. Even the light, for a moment, appeared twisted. The clear springs within a dozen miles reversed their flow, and the uneven hills were almost leveled. The battle between peak golden body realm powerhouses is too fierce. We must retreat. The recently landed demon suppression army and numerous independent martial cultivators retreated in succession. With Lu Yun and Zhong Lingshu here, we should go elsewhere to intercept the members of the Cloud Sea sect. After the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, South Sun Martial Academy, and the Demon Suppression Army withdrew, Lu Yun had no more concerns. He reached out with his right hand, and the dragon scale saber was already unsheathed. Simultaneously, a steel ring, surrounded by golden mysterious light, appeared. Facing the peak golden body realm powerhouse, he had to be more cautious. Swish! The eyes of the black-robed elder blazed with intense brightness, his powerful physique driving a wave of golden light and flames that spread dozens of feet, making people shudder. At this point, he was already entangled with Lu Yun, while Yun Haoliang was entangled with another heavenly pride of Ling province. He knew that the longer the delay, the more dangerous it would be. Therefore, he had to do his best to defeat the enemy in front of him in order to gain a glimmer of hope. Some things cannot be rushed. Lu Yun laughed loudly, his fist wrapped in golden light, like the brilliant sun descending as it shattered the powerful sea of fire within mere moments. Immediately after, a saber suddenly slashed out, its radiance reaching straight into the sky, causing the cloud sea to churn. Lu Yun had reached the peak of the origin fluid realm, with his yuan high 80 feet high and the slaughter conception approaching 70% of the 5th rank. The mere power of this casual saber was terrifying. Its radiance seemed to split open the void, and the dazzling light made it impossible for people to open their eyes. A regular golden body, realm martial artist, would undoubtedly not be able to survive under this saber. The black-robed elder let out a long howl and soared into the sky. Golden runes wrapped around his hands, and his fists, like two peaks, descended from the heavens. This was the Cloud Sea sect's Annihilation Double Peaks Fist, which had reached the point of perfection in his hands, especially since he had already begun to engrave law runes, which enhanced the Annihilation Double Peaks Fist, making it even more domineering and fierce. Boom, boom, boom. The two continued to fight, creating endless hurricanes, like a heaven and earth overturning tsunami. Not far away, a mountain peak with various forms could no longer withstand the impact of the powerful aftershocks. It cracked and collapsed, emitting a deafening noise. Chapter 339, Chapter 339, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Destruction _2, Chapter 339, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Destruction _2. Please continue reading on X0VL. Shortly after, the rolling smoke and dust, along with pieces of shattered rock, were once again swept up into a powerful wave that forcibly compressed them into fine dust. The clash between Lu Yun and the old man in the black robe, the confrontation between Zhong Lingxiu and Yun Haoyang of the Cloud Sea sect, their struggles intertwined like two vast waves rolling in different directions, each one pressing the other down in turn. Nevertheless, as the foremost heavenly pride of the South Sun Martial Academy, Zhong Lingxiu managed to contend with the two leading figures of the Cloud Sea sect simultaneously. Notably, Yun Haoyang was in the same realm as him. The Cloud Sea sect is merely a subordinate force of the White Lotus sect, who in our generation dares to compare themselves with me. Intimidating brilliance filled Zhong Lingxiu's eyes. He bore the honor of the South Sun Martial Academy and was listed among the top heavenly prides of Ling Province. He needed an unsurpassed battle to pave his way to invincibility. Therefore, in today's battle, victory was the only option. Defeat was not allowed. However, facing two heavenly prides with the power to fight above their level, his bravery could barely gain an edge. Many of his secret techniques were blocked. If things continued like this, even if he won, he wouldn't be able to stop the two. The two heavenly prides of the Cloud Sea sect understood this very well. This time and place was not where they would determine victory or defeat. They could not stay longer than necessary thus. They fought and retreated in tandem. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10,000 dazzling lights formed a rain of arrows, turning everything gold and striking directly at Yun Haoyang and his partner. A single member of the Demon Suppression Army might be weak, but when thousands of them united, they formed a formidable force. This was particularly true after enduring the baptism of the deep-sea giant shark and the blood of the seventh-rank sea buffalo. Their auras had grown much stronger. The joint attack blocked the retreat of the two heavenly prides of the Cloud Sea sect. Today, we will settle both victory and death. Without the heart to fight to the utmost, you'll certainly die. Before the two heavenly prides of the Cloud Sea sect could block the attack, Zhong Lingxiu had already closed the gap to press the attack. He landed a punch on one of the heavenly prides from the Cloud Sea sect, who was at the mid-stage of the Golden Body realm. The man was sent flying back. Then his body crashed into a mountain, with golden blood gushing out. You honor. Seeing the young man get heavily wounded by Zhong Lingxiu's punch, the old man in the black robe's eyes almost split with anger, and he appeared almost insane. Yun Haoyang was the son of the sect leader and the heavenly pride of the sect, but the other one was his apprentice. Daring to divide your attention from our battle, your defeat isn't far off. Lu Yun's voice went low, with his golden fang giant teeth, already prepared in secret. Even if this old man's strength wasn't on par with Tan Chun and the others, he could inscribe runes at the very least, making him much stronger than any ordinary peak-shaped Golden Body realm fighter. It's all your fault. All your fault. Without you blocking me, Yuana wouldn't have been so badly injured. The old man in the black robe roared. His face as dark as the ocean and his aura surged, stirring up a fiery sea and hurling himself towards Lu Yun. At this moment, Lu Yun no longer pressed forward. He was well aware that the old man was now prepared to risk everything, even if it meant paying the price of his own life. He stood in the void, his purple robe fluttering. The Yuan Hai behind him was booming, displaying a powerful, vast aura origin. He gripped his long knife tightly in both hands and slashed it powerfully towards his opponent. Hum! The thick knife light soared straight into the sky, dazzlingly radiant like a hanging Milky Way, hacking towards the vast heaven and earth. His sword chi surged like an ocean, stretching far and wide. Amidst it, dazzling stars fell like a red sun dropping, power to shake the heavens. It was incredibly breathtaking. During this process, space collapsed, clouds roiled, and the earth cracked. The grand and majestic scene was like the creation of heaven and earth, shocking and thrilling. Oh no! The old man in the black robe quickly retreated, shocked. He could deeply feel the power of that one knife and knew he could not resist it directly, otherwise he would be heavily damaged. He quickly rushed towards another area, fleeing. The whistling knife chi and the vast killing intent made his robes tear, and marks covered his body. Golden blood dripped slowly, and the continuous mountain range, after being hacked by this unparalleled knife, which felt like the sun had descended, was clearly seen cut into two halves by the chi of the knife, revealing a gigantic abyss, filled with terrifying knife chi and killing intent. What a strong fluctuation from the battle. What's happening over there? Let's go and see. Many members of the Demon Suppression Army and experts from the Martial Academy rushed over and saw the intense fight, especially when they saw a heavenly pride from the Cloud Sea sect attempting to escape the perimeters of the battlefield. Nearly breaking free, they were all angry and burst out, killing intent, ready to rush forward. I am Zhong Lingshu of the South Sun Martial Academy. This man is my target. I hope you all will give me some face. Zhong Lingshu immediately halted others. Zhong Lingshu? One of the top 10 from Ling Province. The top 10 of Ling Province were the 10 most monstrously talented and powerful youths among the 36 martial academies in Ling Province. At the very least, they were all in the late stage of the Golden Body realm, but their actual combat capabilities far surpassed the average peak-shaped Golden Body realm combatants. For such exceptional individuals, these experts naturally did not want to offend them. As for Lu Yin on the other side, his status was even more extraordinary as the only saint child in Ling Province, ranking above the top 10. His reputation was comparable to the heavenly prides of Central Province, Wu Province, and other exceptional heavenly prides. There is another remnant from the Cloud Sea sect, Kill. At this moment, one of the powerful fighters noticed the heavily injured heavenly pride of the Cloud Sea sect struggling out of the mountain, preparing to escape. Seeing this, others also revealed killing intent and launched their killing techniques. For a moment, various techniques emerged. A plethora of lights lit up. A dozen powerful fighters all made their moves, launching dense attacks targeting one direction. Chapter 340, Chapter 340, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Destruction _3, Chapter 340, Chapter 201, Suppression, Self-Destruction _3 lease reading Omicron N novel cool. Omicron M, boom. A massive sound echoed, as if the Earth's core had been blown apart, and dazzling lights poured down like lava onto the Cloud Sea sect's heavenly pride. Each attack was overwhelming and concentrated, with the weakest attack comparable to a full-strength strike from someone in the middle stage of the Golden Body realm. Now, gathered together, they formed an unparalleled killing move directed at this Cloud Sea sect's heavenly pride, who was only in the middle stage of the Golden Body realm. He tried his best to resist, but how could the strength of one person withstand the power of over a dozen people? Moreover, he had already been seriously injured by Zhong Lingshu. An enormous wave of energy spread out, completely engulfing this mountain peak and the heavenly pride of the Cloud Sea sect. The mountain crumbled, and the lights surged like waves. Massive stones weighing tens of thousands of pounds flew in all directions, creating a terrifying scene. Finally, a shattered, feeble aura descended. Under our incredibly powerful attack, He didn't die completely, truly a rare heavenly pride. What a pity, one of the powerful individuals launched a golden beam of light, intertwined with flashes of lightning, which rapidly pierced through the target. Splat! The fierce attack penetrated the opponent's chest, skull, forehead, and abdomen, bringing out a large spray of blood. "You honor, you honor!" The black-robed old man wailed to the sky, his body surrounded by a radiant glow. 13 runes emerged from his body, merging with the yuan high inside him, the tidal waves of sound rumbling like a tide. Not good. This old guy is going to self-destruct his runes, taking us all with him. Lu Yun, Saint Child, retreat quickly. Runes draw on one's yuan high as a foundation, tapping into the laws of heaven and earth, are the basis of attaining the Tao. Each rune possesses immense power. Before solidifying a rune seed, runes cannot leave the body. Once they leave the body, it means the rune is collapsing, causing the laws to shatter, and the power created would be earth-shattering. Self-destruct runes. Lu Yun was shocked, as even before the runes had completely collapsed, he could feel an immense throbbing power. If he allowed this to happen, his situation would be unspeakable. If it weren't for you blocking me, Yuaner and the others wouldn't have been dragged down and killed in battle. Everything is your fault. The black-robed old man had lost all will to live, now seeking only death. But before his death, he must take something with him, not only for revenge, but also to make Morijin pay a heavy price. Lu Yun, with merely an origin fluid realm cultivation, could fight against him, a peak golden body expert who had etched more than a dozen runes into his skin. Such monstrous talent was extraordinarily rare. Under the weight of old grievances and new hatred, he made the best choice, which was to take Lu Yun down with him. Haha, with a prodigy like you buried with me, what does it matter if I die? The black-robed old man's face showed a fierce determination, his body emitting light, and the collapsing runes charged towards Lu Yun. The sound of zheng zheng filled the air, and even from afar, one could feel the destructive and violent atmosphere permeating the air. Boom! It was like the explosion of a star bursting with a brilliant radiance. The terrifying aftermath of the self-destruction swept across hundreds of miles in an instant like a gust of wind. Located at the center of the self-destruction zone, a tall and erect mountain peak collapsed with a loud rumble, its billowing dust reaching the sky. It's a mess at such a distance. Saint Child Lu Yun is likely unable to avoid the aftermath of the self-destruction. Those dozen or so powerful individuals who had retreated far away looked at the terrifying aftermath and shook their heads with a hint of pity. Chapter 341, Chapter 341. Chapter 202, Startling Appearance of the Cave. Chapter 341. Chapter 202, Startling Appearance of the Cave. Lease reading Omicron Novel Cool. Omicron Mansion. Hell's three-headed dog in the distance. People sighed, feeling sorry for this young man, the #1 prodigious Saint Child among all martial academies in Ling Province, who would now perish here. No one thought that Lu Yun could survive after a peak golden body realm expert, who had inscribed more than 10 runes, exploded himself. What a pity, what a pity! We in Ling Province finally had such a genius who was destined to become a celestial human, but now he's dying young. Among these people were demon extermination generals and strong martial artists from various martial academies in Ling Province. They had more or less expectations for Lu Yun, the rising genius. After all, Ling Province was poor, and their martial arts level was far behind the other provinces of Morijin. If a celestial human rose from their midst, it would definitely change the current situation. Saint Child has fallen. Chiu Gyun couldn't believe it. In his mind, Lu Yun was like a strong pillar, an existence to tightly embrace, having endless potential in the future. But it seemed that the dream was shattered. so suddenly. It's impossible. It's impossible. Senior brother, Lou won't just perish like that. Bailey E's face turned pale, and he stumbled backward. Ever since the beginning, he considered Lu Yun as his benchmark, the motivation for his cultivation. If Lu Yun had really fallen, it would be an unimaginable blow to him. Everyone in Flying Spirit Martial Academy had a bleak expression, except for Gu Yuan, whose eyes flashed mysteriously as he said softly, with unparalleled natural talent, Senior Brother Lu will not be dragged down by a mere golden body realm martial artist. On the other side, that was close. When he escaped from the explosion, Lu Yun finally heaved a sigh of relief. In the instant the old man in the black robe exploded, Lu Yun immediately used Instant Horizon to get away in time. Otherwise, if he didn't die, he would have been seriously injured. His current physical strength was slightly worse compared to a real golden body realm peak powerhouse. The power of the explosion, even the golden body realm peak powerhouse's flesh, would be torn to pieces. The scene just now was nothing short of dangerous. Boom. One wave barely subsided, and another wave rose. Just as Lu Yun arrived at the center of the battlefield, he suffered an ambush. A small red light was rushing at him from tens of meters away, hurtling toward his heart. Lu Yun condensed his aura origin on his hand, forming a golden protective layer. He used his index and middle fingers to grasp the red light. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a flying needle coated with an unknown venom that devoured aura origin and emanated an intense cold. This poison could even devour the pure yang strong origin, which showed how fierce it was and how insidious his enemy's methods were. Die! Lu Yun's eyes flashed coldly, and with a wave of his hand, he sent the poisonous needle back to the direction it came from. The ambushing martial artist, wearing a gray robe, didn't expect Lu Yun to block his stealth attack right away and retaliate at the same time. With a hurried attempt to block with his weapon, a crisp sound was heard, followed by an irresistible force. He quickly retreated, and his weapon was destroyed and knocked away. Fortunately, the direction of the poisonous needle was deflected, landing on a towering tree. An overwhelming cold exploded, turning the giant tree into an ice block. A dark cave appeared, expanding rapidly where the needles penetrated. This kid is so strong. The gray-robed martial artist could not worry about the pain in his body, attempting to escape quickly. But suddenly, he sensed a powerful aura surging behind him. Hot air rose, filling him with terror. Unable to dodge, an immense force erupted, striking his back. Splat! With a force powerful enough to split mountains, how could this mere golden body realm early stage martial artist withstand it? His flesh burst apart, and golden blood spattered everywhere. One-hit kill. Only then did the discontent in Lu Yun's heart subside. My demon extermination points haven't increased. After killing the ambusher, Lu Yun found that the demon extermination points on his demon extermination token hadn't changed. But previously, the Golden Body Realm Peak Powerhouse contributed 3,200 demon extermination points to Lu Yun just by dying through self-explosion. This Golden Body Realm Middle Stage martial artist had been killed by Lu Yun personally. Could it be that this guy is not from Cloud C sect? Lu Yun suddenly realized. He checked and found a familiar token, the demon extermination token. In fact, Lu Yun noticed the ambusher's attire didn't resemble a member of the Cloud C sect from the start, but he was suddenly attacked and harbored a strong desire to kill. So he didn't have time to question him and killed him decisively. Now, with no change in demon extermination points, and having seen the demon extermination token with his own eyes, how could he not know the reason? As expected, not long after, a flicker of light from the exploded body slowly dissipated, and the radiant light on the demon extermination token vanished completely. At the beginning in East Sun Grand Canyon, when Master Chong Kong granted each martial artist with a demon extermination token, he embedded runes into their bodies so that the token could record their achievements. Now, this person was killed by Lu Yun, and the rune in his body also dissipated. The demon extermination token no longer belonged to anyone. Lu Yun's eyes flickered thoughtfully. Chapter 342, Chapter 342, Chapter 202. A cave mansion appears, the three-headed hellhound _2. Chapter 342, Chapter 202. A cave mansion appears, the three-headed hellhound _2. Lease reading Omicron and novel cool. Omicron M. Could it be that he tried to ambush me in order to steal my demon extermination token and claim the demon extermination points? Quickly, Lu Yun dismissed the idea. Master Chong Kong had once warned that demon extermination points could be exchanged privately, but they must follow the principle of fairness and voluntariness, otherwise no mercy would be shown. This martial artist had no need to violate the warning of a golden core realm true master for the sake of demon extermination points. Moreover, the demon extermination token was linked to the runes within one's body. If two different tokens attempted to exchange demon extermination points, it was possible that the exchange would be discovered. The opponent would not be so foolish. Then, why did he try to kill me? As he touched the demon extermination token in his hand, Lu Yun pondered. Just then, a mountain not far away collapsed with a deafening roar, revealing a huge deep hole, several yards in diameter and apparently bottomless. Is this a dwelling? Lu Yun's eyes sparkled brightly, his heart beating faster. Within sects, those who were powerful and preferred their privacy for cultivation would often establish such dwellings and practice intensively in seclusion. Those who could do so were at least of the rune seed realm. Such a person's secluded dwelling would undoubtedly be filled with pills and secret cultivation manuals, a serious temptation for any martial artist. Upon discovering Lu Yun, the opponent's ambush attempt made sense. But unfortunately, since his target was Lu Yun, not only did the ambush fail, but it also led to his own undoing. I cannot keep this demon extermination token. Lu Yun casually threw the token aside, then made his way towards the nearby dwelling. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, a massive array shone brightly, enveloping Lu Yun in its radiance. At the same time, a beast formed from powerful energy appeared. Its silver light was dazzling, and in the end, it transformed into a pitch-black creature. The creature was not large in size, but it was covered in scales that gleamed with a metallic luster. It had a ferocious mouth, a single horn on its head, and a body that resembled a hound, but with 3 heads and wings on its flanks. This was a Cerberus from hell. Even though it was shaped from the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi convergence in the array, it was incredibly powerful. Growling, upon seeing Lu Yun trespass into the dwelling, Cerberus rushed over. Its breath was wild, and its power horrifying. Lu Yun stared at the Cerberus, but did not draw his dragon scale saber. His saber technique was too strong. If he wasn't careful, the dwelling could be destroyed, the mountain could collapse, and he would end up worse off than before. A golden halo soared into the sky, shimmering with a crimson luster. This was the 100 refined Vajra ring, capable of both offensive and defensive capabilities. Boom! He threw it, and suddenly a dazzling golden light surged forward, violently hitting one of the Cerberus heads. Growling, the Cerberus howled in pain. The scales on its central head were shattered, creating a large bump. Enraged, it became even more terrifying. Its body was gleaming, and it resisted the 100 refined Vajra ring, rushing to Lu Yun for a melee fight. The creature's body was formed by the convergence of heavenly and earthly spiritual chi within the array, as long as the array was not broken, and as long as the spiritual chi did not exhaust It was invincible. When it moved, silver lights fell like exploding stars, and its powerful claws tore easily through the air. It was terrifying and fiercely aggressive. Lu Yun was not afraid. He stepped forward, charged without backing down, and fiercely collided with the vicious Cerberus. His body was filled with immeasurable golden light. He dodged the creature's claws, and then gave a punch on its bulging spot on the skull. A loud hum reverberated in the air. The Hell's Hound had been punched into stumbling. It crashed against the mountainside, howling in pain. Lu Yun again grabbed the 100 refined Vajra ring and advanced, climbing onto the beast's body and vigorously hitting its head. Each time it was hit, the Cerberus howled, shaking wildly, trying to throw Lu Yun off its body. But all its efforts were in vain. The more it struggled, the more severe attacks it sustained. In the end, as Lu Yun hammered away relentlessly, one of the Cerberus heads exploded, leaving it with two, becoming a two-headed Cerberus in the literal sense. At the same time, Lu Yun noticed that as one head was destroyed, the beast's aura weakened. It worked. Lu Yun's spirits were lifted, and he fought with renewed vigor. He was at a loss with the array. If he could forcibly blow up the Cerberus, the array might break automatically. So Lu Yun either hit it hard with the 100 refined Vajra ring or wildly battered it with his hands. Eventually, Lu Yun blew up all three heads of the Cerberus. The creature's spine was also broken, and it dispersed into lines of energy, completely vanishing. With the disappearance of the Cerberus, the array also disbanded. At the same time, Lu Yun felt an incredibly dense layer of heavenly and earthly spiritual qi within the dwelling. With the array disarmed, Lu Yun entered it effortlessly. The dwelling's interior was a treasure trove, with large spaces and numerous chambers. Each chamber was neatly organized, bearing traces of occupation. From this, it was evident that the owner of the dwelling hadn't been away for long, and it was even possible that they were locked in battle with the demon suppression army outside. Lu Yun walked straight to a stone chamber with a barrier in place. He had barely taken a few steps inside when a flashing barrier appeared, pulsing with energy. Chapter 343, Chapter 343, Chapter 202, a cave mansion appears, the three-headed hellhound _3, Chapter 343, Chapter 202, a cave mansion appears, the three-headed hellhound _3 lease reading Omicron M novel cool. Omicron M, the prohibition left by a rune seed realm powerhouse, was naturally not simple. Lu Yun finally destroyed the prohibition and entered with some effort. I hope there will be some gains. Inside the stone chamber, it was quite spacious. Lu Yun's eyes suddenly fell on a beautiful bracelet. The bracelet was overall xianqing in color, with 5-star patterns engraved on it, emitting a faint starlight, quite mysterious. Lu Yun's mind trembled, and he immediately walked over, wanting to claim it for himself. An object that could excite him so much must undoubtedly be a treasure. As soon as he grabbed it, he felt extremely soft and smooth. Starlight soaked into his body, shining brightly on his skin, and even the remaining impurities in his body were being refined one by one, making him feel refreshed, ethereal, and almost soaring to the heavens. What is this treasure? It actually has the effect of purifying the flesh and refining impurities. Lu Yun looked at the Xingxian bracelet with flashing starlight in his hand and looked shocked, a hint of surprise in his eyes. This is the 5-star Xianqing bracelet. As long as it is worn for 120 years, one's bones will be refined into star-storing treasure bone, and the body will be greatly enhanced, not inferior to some monsters with special physiques. Such a voice suddenly sounded from behind, causing Lu Yun to be alarmed. He summoned the 100 refined Vajra ring and the golden-edged giant fong, and the cave immediately filled with dazzling golden light. "Brother Lu, it's me. Don't do anything." Another young man with a handsome face and extraordinary temperament walked out of the stone chamber in the cave. Upon hearing the sound, Lu Yun looked at him and found that he was an acquaintance. It was Zhuo Chuya, the legendary heavenly pride among the independent martial cultivators. You followed me? Lu Yun placed the 5-star Xianqing bracelet naturally on his wrist, faintly feeling the starlight pouring into his body, silently improving and enhancing his physique. Chuya looked at Lu Yun's actions and couldn't help shaking his head and laughing bitterly. Brother Lu, I entered this cave first, but now you're turning everything around. It's really... At these words, Lu Yun's face turned red. He had just entered the cave not long ago, and with his strength, if someone was tracking him, he would naturally have noticed. And since the other party came out of another stone chamber in the cave, it could be seen that Chuya had indeed entered the cave before him. Although knowing this, Lu Yun couldn't admit it. To admit it meant to give in. For Lu Yun, compromise was impossible. Oh, really? But when I came, the array outside the cave was intact. If you entered the cave before me, why did the array still exist? I'm quite skilled in arrays and prohibitions, so entering the cave naturally isn't difficult. So Chuya smiled, faintly, glanced meaningfully at the 5-star Xianqing bracelet on Lu Yun's hand, and laughed. Treasures belong to those who are virtuous. Don't worry, I won't compete with you for it. Haha, I never expected brothers to be so well-versed in various fields, even mastering such minor arts as arrays and prohibitions. You have my admiration. When Lu Yun's intention was exposed, he could only admit it by clasping his hands together. Just a hobby. Zhuo Chuya continued. The 5-star Xianqing bracelet is regarded as a treasure in the Cloud Sea sect. I didn't expect it to be hidden here and be obtained by you first, Brother Lu. As the Martial Academy's Saint Child, you truly have great fortune. Chapter 344, Chapter 344, Chapter 203, Level 5 Xianqing Bracelet, Rune Seed Realm Expert Attacks. Chapter 344, Chapter 203, Level 5 Xianqing Bracelet, Rune Seed Realm Expert Attacks. Lease reading Omicron M Novel Cool. Omicron M. This bracelet is indeed extraordinary, but it doesn't seem as precious as you claim, let alone being the supreme treasure of the Cloud Sea sect. Zhuo Chuya shook his head slightly and smiled mysteriously. Brother Lu, why don't you channel your spiritual power into the level 5 Xianqing bracelet and try it out? Upon hearing this, Lu Yun channeled his spiritual power, only to witness a burst of starlight from the bracelet, dazzling beyond measure, like a meteor shower rushing into his body. Subsequently, he felt a celestial force refining his body, a surge of stellar power, with abundant, pure, yang-strong origin. This celestial force was faintly resonating with his yuan high and tempering his flesh again. At the same time, he noticed that as more spiritual power was channeled in, the force of the stars grew stronger, emanating a mysterious green light from the bracelet, enveloping his whole body, and an enormous pressure came upon him. Initially, when he reached the peak of the origin fluid realm, his yuan high had risen to a height of 80 yards. Tempering his body after that, his strength had grown tremendously to about 3,500,000 jin, about 250,000 kilograms. But now, as his spiritual power continuously poured into the level 5 Xianqing bracelet, the gravitational force he felt grew stronger, causing him to feel unstable, and he quickly stopped channeling spiritual power in. Upon examining himself again, he noticed the gold light radiating from his bones becoming denser and more brilliant, with a faint layer of starlight substance on the surface growing more elastic. After experiencing the reinforcement from the celestial force and gravity, he felt slight improvements in his physical strength, flexibility, and explosiveness. Such effects were achieved in just a short time and would surely become more evident over longer periods. Simultaneously, Lu Yun now understood why Zhuqiuya referred to the level 5 Xianqing bracelet as the supreme treasure of the Cloud Sea sect. This treasure is extraordinary. Yearning ago, it caused a bloodbath among the 100 sects. If it wasn't only useful for refining the body of those in the Golden Body realm, I'm afraid even true masters of the Golden Core realm and those in the Heavenly Human realm would have personally stolen it. Brother Lu, obtaining this bracelet will surely solidify your supreme foundation in the Golden Body realm. With your talent, condensing a top-grade rune seed should not be difficult, and even a superior rune seed might not be impossible. Seeing Zhuqiuya's knowledge of the Cloud Sea sect, especially the secrets of the level 5 Xianqing bracelet, Lu Yun couldn't help but ask, Brother Zhua, I've consulted many books in the Martial Academy, but there are very few records about the 100 sects, not even the worthless sects like the Black Mountain sect and the Cloud Sea sect. How do you know so much information? He secretly suspected that the other party might be a member of the 100 sects, but with the means of Morrigan at hand, it would be impossible for anyone to infiltrate the expedition army. Well, Chia paused for a moment and asked instead, Brother Lu, do you know why the 100 sects, despite their strength and having expelled all sea clans from the nearly sea area to claim this territory, are constantly suppressed by Morrigan? Morrigan is more powerful in all respects, boasting impressive strength, unity, and cohesion under their emperor's leadership. On the other hand, the 100 sects are not as weak, but are disjointed and lack unity. It's normal for them to be suppressed. Lu Yun replied without a second thought, in the Morrigan realm. As long as one had enough talent, they could join the Martial Academy, the army, or other court institutions, and receive decent cultivation techniques and resources as long as they demonstrated sufficient potential. Even those with insufficient talent could obtain cultivation techniques by slaying demon beasts and earning merits. Moreover, under the unified command of the royal court, the army, as well as the Martial Academy aristocratic families, and even independent martial cultivators would all obediently respond. In contrast, the 100 sects hoarded their inheritance and refused to share their sect's secret techniques, only allowing internal lineage members to access them. In addition, conflicts arose frequently among the 100 sects, with fights breaking out between them occasionally and even cases of sect annihilation occurring. The Morrigan and the 100 sects were in a direct relationship of one thriving while the other declined. However, how is this related to your understanding of the 100 sects? Lu Yun kept his composure, but inside his guard was raised. People's hearts are cunning, and sects are treacherous. Zhuqiuya touched the treasured sword in his arms, then sighed bitterly. The reason I know so many secrets is that I used to be a disciple of the 100 sects. Used to be. Upon hearing Zhuqiuya's words, Lu Yun's pupils constricted, but he quickly noticed the other party's wording. Indeed, the other party was a disciple of the 100 sects, but the emphasis on used to be had a purpose worth pondering. Brother Lu, you don't need to be so wary of me. I am now a person of Morrigan and have no relation to the 100 sects. In fact, I have a deep hatred brewing with some of their sections. Regardless, you were once a member of the 100 sects, and that cannot be changed. The golden fong behind Lu Yun sprang forth while his dragon scale saber emitted an aura in hand. Usually, Morrigan would ruthlessly exterminate the 100 sects to eliminate future troubles, regardless of whether the sects were destroyed or their inheritances were severed. What about this? Zhuqiuya reached out and took out the demon extermination token. If I were a member of the 100 sects, could I get this demon extermination token? If that were the case, Master Changkong would have killed me when the law runes were fused. Lu Yun frowned, but remained guarded. What the other party said alone couldn't ease his vigilance, considering the other party might have unique means to avoid the investigation of a Golden Core Realm True Master. Chapter 345. Chapter 345. Chapter 203. Level 5 Xianqing Bracelet. Rune Seed Realm Expert Attacks _2. Chapter 345. Chapter 203. Level 5 Xianqing Bracelet. Rune Seed Realm Expert Attacks _2. Lease reading Omicron N Novel Cool. Omicron M. As long as the martial artists of the 100 sects are willing to abandon their original foundations and start cultivation anew, they can become a member of Morijin. Among independent martial cultivators, there are many like me who have abandoned their original foundations and started cultivation anew. They are scattered throughout the 12 Morijin states. And when you see an independent martial cultivators suddenly rise, most of them are former heavenly prides of the 100 sects. They had no choice but to abandon their supreme foundations and start cultivation anew. Abandoning one's original foundation means severing all ties with the sect, including the blessings of the sect's luck. However, Lu Yun heard for the first time that Morijin would accept people from the 100 sects under these circumstances. From Zhuo Qiwai's words, the truth could be discerned. Why would you give up the foundations you've worked so hard to establish? Lu Yun asked, pointing out a loophole in Zhuo Qiwai's speech. There are many reasons. Some do it for revenge, some for survival, and some for pursuing higher realms, and so on. Lu Yun still wanted to ask more when suddenly a commotion occurred outside the cave dwelling. Damn it, someone indeed entered my cave dwelling. Upon hearing the voice, both Lu Yun and Zhuo Qiuya narrowed their eyes. Brother Lu, I apologize. A strong rune seed realm expert from the Cloud Sea sect must have employed some tricks on the array or prohibition. They noticed our presence as soon as we entered the cave dwelling. Without his reminder, Lu Yun had already thought of this possibility. But what use was it? Now, a powerful rune seed realm expert was blocking the entrance to the cave dwelling, which was terrifying just to think about. What should we do? Lu Yun's thoughts raced, searching for a strategy. In the cave dwelling, he could not use his instant horizon, so escape was impossible. If he didn't try to escape, his current strength could barely contend with a half-step rune seed realm, but if he encountered a real rune seed realm expert, he would have no chance for survival. But other than that, there seemed to be no better option. Feeling the oppressive aura drawing closer, Lu Yun glanced at Zhuo Qiuya beside him and couldn't help but ask, Brother Zhuo, have you come up with any countermeasures? Zhuo Qiuya nodded slightly. The best method is to confront them head-on in order to fight for a slim chance at survival. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun was exasperated. Wasn't this just stating the obvious? So, he took a deep breath and looked around the room. Aside from the level 5 Xingxian bracelet he had previously obtained, the room was empty, except for a small gourd hanging on the wall. Lu Yun reached out, grabbed the small gourd, and heard a rolling sound from within. As he opened the gourd, the sparkle in his eyes intensified. Pills. As Lu Yun uncorked the gourd, a refreshing pill fragrance instantly filled the air. These are rune seed pills. Zhuo Qiuya, by his side, reminded him, this pill has no advantages for you, only harm. You must not take it, or you'll be stuck at the half-step rune seed realm for the rest of your life. Are these really rune seed pills? Although Lu Yun had never seen rune seed pills before, he had heard of them. They were a unique pill with very high value, forcibly refined using the inheritance of the 100 sects through special means. As it was extremely difficult for even golden body realm martial artists to advance to the rune seed realm or even half-step rune seed realm, countless martial artists were stuck at the peak of the golden body realm in Morijin. But rune seed pills help golden body realm martial artists quickly comprehend laws, engrave law runes on their bodies, and eventually condense rune seeds. It could be said that a single rune seed pill could create a half-step rune seed realm expert. For those martial artists who had reached the peak of the golden body realm and could never advance further, A rune seed pill was no less valuable than any sixth-grade pill. Unfortunately, this was within Morihjin in the Alliance. The rune seed pill, however, was a forbidden pill, its pill recipe destroyed, and any alchemist who dares to refine it would face sealing punishment from both the Dan Master Alliance and the Morihjin Imperial Court. It's not just because the rune seed pill would cut off the future potential of its user. Those who take the rune seed pill are individuals who have no hope of consolidating a rune seed due to the difficulty in engraving runes. How can one talk about future potential if one cannot even condense a rune seed? The reason why the rune seed pill is considered forbidden within the Morihjin realm and the Dan Master Alliance is that it weakens the fate of the human race to produce this pill. The rune seed, the law rune, this is linked to the laws of heaven and earth, as it consumes the laws of heaven and earth at a price. There were 2 rune seed pills in the gourd, each full and rounded, exuding a sense of elation that made people yearn, almost blending with heaven and earth. After sealing the gourd, Lu Yun put it away into the Sumi ring with a smile on his face. With such harvest, what can be done even if a great enemy comes? As for this, Suichilya had nothing more to say. Everyone has their own calculations and choices, and in the end, they will pay for their choices. He had already reminded Lu Yun, and that was enough. Moreover, with the great enemy approaching, there was no time to waste on idle talk. Boom! Just as Lu Yun put away the rune seed pill, the stone door was suddenly blasted open, and a furious breath flooded into the stone chamber. The atmosphere was like a sharp sword cutting through the air, and Lu Yun felt an immense pressure. He mobilized all his pure yang strong origin to counter it. At the same time, he also saw the powerful Cloud Sea sect expert who had arrived, his body covered in golden runes, his eyes opening and closing like lightning, and his powerful aura rolled like waves towards Lu Yun and Suichilya. You 2 rodents have the audacity to break into my cave. Die! A rune seed realm martial artist stretched out his hand, and 2 rune-constructed snakes lunged at Lu Yun and Suichilya simultaneously. Humph! Just a middling rune seed realm after all. If I were in my peak state, I could crush the likes of you with one hand. Suichilya was quite brave, defeating one of the rune snakes with a single sword. Lu Yun used all of his aura origin and activated 70% of his slaughter conception at level 5, just barely breaking the attack of the other snake. Even so, his figure retreated sharply, finally colliding with the wall, where he barely managed to steady himself. The mid-level rune seed realm expert's casual strike was terrifying, and Lu Yun's face was grave as he had seriously underestimated the strength of a rune seed realm expert. However, Suichilya appeared quite relaxed. It seems you're already injured and aren't even at 50% of your full strength. Suichilya's words were meant to boost Lu Yun's confidence and shake the rune seed realm expert's state of mind. Humph! Even so, I'm more than enough to crush you 2 ants. The rune seed realm expert snorted, his body shimmering with brilliant light like a range of mountains blocking the stone gate, completely sealing off the stone chamber. With such a terrifying enemy standing in their way, Lu Yun didn't have much confidence. However, according to Suichilya, the enemy was severely injured, which was indeed the best news. As a result, he activated his spiritual power, and the mountain-like pressure from the level 5 Xing Xian bracelet vanished, liberating his strength. Brother Lu, this time we must put aside our prejudices and work together to resist the enemy, or there will be no chance of survival. Brother Sua, I trust you. At this moment, all Lu Yun could think about was escaping from the encirclement of the rune seed realm expert, or else everything would turn to ashes. Moreover, he didn't harbor much prejudice towards Suichilya, and his words greatly eased the suspicions in his heart. Very well, I'm about to use a trump card that will cause the entire cave to collapse. However, You need to secure me 5 breaths worth of time, and do not let him disturb me. Otherwise, all our efforts will be in vain. 10 breaths, no problem. Lu Yun gritted his teeth and stepped forward. The gold fang jaws quickly transformed into 9 golden swords, enveloping a golden light and attacking the Rune Seed Realm expert, blocking the entrance of the stone chamber. Humph! With just this level of skill, you think you can stop me? The Rune Seed Realm expert snorted loudly, sweeping his hand away and releasing a sea of runes that blocked the attack of the gold fang jaws. At the same time, he ferociously pressed on towards Lu Yun and Zhuqiuye in the stone chamber. Chapter 346, Chapter 346, Chapter 204. Seriously wounded, sword-drawing sky-splitting slash. Chapter 346, Chapter 204. Seriously wounded, sword-drawing sky-splitting slash. Lease reading Omicron and Novel Cool. Omicron M always invincible. The Golden Fang was now eliminated with a wave of his opponent's hand. Waves of endless runes surged forth like tidal waves, unstoppable. Lu Yun once again deployed the 100 refined Vajra ring, its dazzling radiance flickering. It suddenly enlarged, trying to intercept the rune ocean. Boom! The rune ocean crashed onto the 100 refined Vajra ring. The powerful impact made Lu Yun stagger a bit, but he eventually blocked the attack. A mere kid who didn't reach the golden body realm can withstand my one strike. Even if you die, you can be proud of that. This Rune Seed Realm powerhouse, with a cold glint of murder in his eyes, had suddenly become murderous. He reached out with one hand, and a golden battle spear appeared, aimed at Lu Yun's chest. Covered with runes, the spear roared like thunder. As soon as he saw the opponent deploy the battle spear, the sense of crisis in Lu Yun's heart reached its peak. This is a true Rune Seed Realm powerhouse. Even if severely injured, his coercion and power were far beyond what a half-step Rune Seed Realm powerhouse could match. Kill! This Rune Seed Realm powerhouse charged forward, shaking the battle spear. The entire cave trembled, and were it not for the supporting runes and other prohibitions, the cave would have collapsed in an instant. With a loud bang, the awe-inspiring spear pressed down forcefully, and Lu Yun's figure involuntarily retreated. A few steps back, and he would reach Zhuqiuye. But now, less than half of the time of the 10 breaths he had promised had passed. There was no way to retreat, only to fight desperately. Lu Yun's arms shook as he clutched the dragon scale saber. The pinnacle of slaughter conception erupted, and at the same time, the torrents in his internal yuan high surged. A golden tiger burst out, and his momentum suddenly increased several times, blocking the spear's impact. Boom! This Rune Seed Realm powerhouse charged out, the spear like a rainbow, carrying an unstoppable and overwhelming force that penetrated everything. Lu Yun held the saber in one hand and the 100 refined Vajra ring in the other, desperately blocking the attack. However, no matter how exceptional his talent and amazing his combat prowess, he found it extremely difficult against a much more powerful opponent. Splash! The 100 refined Vajra ring was sent flying and hit a nearby stone wall, causing the glow of its runes to flicker and the cave to sway continuously. With a loud boom, Lu Yun was sent flying with his saber, a trace of golden blood oozing from his mouth. The Rune Seed Realm powerhouse was furious, his gaze conveying divine power and his whole body shining as he charged towards Lu Yun with his spear. The combat power Lu Yun showed had astonished and horrified him to the point that he would push through his injuries to kill Lu Yun quickly. With a resounding spear thrust aimed at Lu Yun's chest, it pierced through. Facing this fatal blow, Lu Yun had no time to dodge and could only block with his dragon scale saber, which was immediately struck back. The powerful impact worsened Lu Yun's injuries. His yuan high churned and golden blood gushed out. Die! This rune seed realm powerhouse shot out a bolt of electricity from his eyes, stimulating the runes. The golden battle spear became even more potent, intending to completely penetrate and kill Lu Yun. Hiss! The spear's radiance flashed, and with a piercing sound, it shattered Lu Yun's aura origin barrier and was about to penetrate his chest. At this moment, the purple black star robe on his body emitted a mysterious light, blocking most of the power of the spear and causing it to deviate slightly, penetrating through Lu Yun's left shoulder instead. Lu Yun cried out in pain and was sent hurtling through the air, crashing against the stone wall. He was covered in blood, and his internal bones cracked noisily. Whoosh! The rune seed realm powerhouse urged the battle spear again, intending to kill Lu Yun thoroughly. At this moment, Zui Qiuya, who had been wrapped in silver-white light, finally showed signs of movement. Clang! Zui Qiuai's long sword, which had been held for 10 breaths, finally left its sheath, bringing out a sharp and unparalleled sword sound. The sound of the sword resonated like an ethereal melody that echoed between heaven and earth, clearly audible to both Lu Yun and the rune seed realm powerhouse, a picture of a sword opening the heavens and earth floating through their minds. What kind of sword technique is this? Lu Yun stared wide-eyed at the radiance erupting from Zui Qiuai's sword, momentarily dumbfounded. It was at this moment that he suddenly realized he had underestimated his opponent. If Zui Qiuya attacked him with this sword technique, would he be able to withstand it? There was only one answer. He definitely couldn't. The moment Zui Qiuai's long sword was unsheathed, his whole demeanor changed, rapidly consuming his energy as he slashed out an astonishing sword light. The sword light was silver-white, pure and translucent, flawless, and exuding a sharp cutting force. It seemed capable of splitting everything in its path. Unstoppable, unable to resist, the endless sword light stretched out and made contact with the cave's prohibitions and runes, tearing through them with a crack. The sword radiance extended hundreds of feet long and cleaved the air vertically along the cave, instantly piercing through the entire cave. There was no earth-shattering explosion today, but it did slice through everything like cutting tofu. In an instant, the cave was split open. The rune seed realm powerhouses' eyes popped out in disbelief. Sword-drawing sky-splitting slash? How is that possible? The sky-splitting sword sect was eradicated long ago, with no disciples left. How could its signature sword art appear here, and even be wielded by heavenly pride of Morijin? Facing the dazzling sword aura that tore through the sky and cut through the clouds, the rune seed realm powerhouse of the Cloud Sea sect was indescribably shocked. No, even among the entire sky-splitting sword sect, there are only a handful of people who can master the sword-drawing sky-splitting slash. Could it be that you're the remnant of the sky-splitting sword sect? Chapter 347, Chapter 347, Chapter 204, Seriously Wounded, Sword-Drawing Sky-Splitting Slash 2, Chapter 347, Chapter 204, Seriously Wounded, Sword-Drawing Sky-Splitting Slash 2. Lease reading Omicron and Novel Cool. Omicron M, it seemed that he had thought of something, and his eyes revealed a look of apprehension and fear. Even now, the realm demonstrated by Zui Qiuya was only the late gold body realm. It was that the sky-splitting sword sect's former reputation was too dazzling and unparalleled, leaving an unbeatable impression in the heart of such a mid-rune seed realm powerhouse, causing him to forget that the person he faced now was just a martial artist in the late gold body realm. The silvery white sword light soared into the sky, and the world suddenly darkened. Only that silver-white golden light was extremely bright, bursting with an ultimate sharpness and sharpness, sweeping away all obstacles. "Brother Lu, let's go." Zui Qiuai's voice was like a thunderbolt, instantly waking Lu Yun up. The runes and prohibitions repairing the cave mansion had been destroyed, and after the heaven-shaking sword, the mountain would completely collapse, and everything would be buried. If they don't flee along the trace left by that previous sword in time, they would be completely buried within. Lu Yun knew this, and without the obstruction of runes and prohibitions, coupled with Swakiwai's earth-shattering sword, a huge trace appeared on the mountain. Under the powerful sword might, the mountain hadn't collapsed yet, and there was a considerable gap, enough for him to escape. Humph, it won't be that easy to escape. The Rune Seed Realm powerhouse reacted, his body covered with runes and a dazzling light, and he made a grab with his palm. Unfortunately, it was too late. Lu Yun seized that momentary opportunity. Using instant horizon, spatial ripples emerged, and he disappeared on the spot. Logically speaking, using instant horizon in such an unstable spatial situation carries great risks. But at this moment, his situation doesn't allow for any hesitation. One step slower, and he would either be buried in the collapsed mountain or fall into the hands of the Cloud C-Sex Rune Seed Realm powerhouse. Fortunately, his luck was not bad, and he didn't encounter any accidents, successfully returning to the outside world. At this time, the purple-black star robe emitted a mysterious light, and the cut on his shoulder slowly healed, but it would take some time to fully recover. Blocking the full force of the Rune Seed Realm powerhouse, the damage to the purple-black star robe was also significant. Comparatively, Lu Yun's injury was even more severe, with a bloody hole in his shoulder and 30% of his bones broken. Streams of star power emanated from the level 5 Xianqing bracelet, and strands of colorful light flowed within the golden yuan high, spreading throughout his body, slowly healing his wounds and bones. Seeing Lu Yun suddenly appearing in front of them, the both parties fighting on the battlefield were dumbfounded. "Kill!" an old man from the Cloud C-Sect shouted, his eyes gloomy, his face cold and clear, and his killing intent like a tidal wave. After some observation, he could see that Lu Yun was just at the Origin Fluid Realm cultivation and had been seriously injured. The apprehension in his heart disappeared in an instant. In a flash, various lights danced. The Cloud C-Sex attackers acted together, launching dense and continuous attacks. Because Lu Yun was at the center of the battlefield, the attacks on him were the most intensive and fierce. Lu Yun was furious, having just escaped from the tiger's jaws and experiencing an unprecedented defeat. The pent-up anger in his heart had nowhere to vent, but now he had finally found a place to do so. However, he dared not confront such vast and dense attacks at the same time. After all, this was the combined efforts of countless experts concentrated on attacking him. If he were to collide head-on, the outcome wouldn't be much better than the previous collision with the Rune Seed Realm powerhouse. He moved his body, used instant horizon once again, and vanished on the spot. When he reappeared, he was already in the sky. The fierce attacks landed with a bang, and the airwaves spread out instantly. Where Lu Yun had just stood, a huge abyss was blasted straight into the ground. Countless dust and airwaves flew in all directions, looking extremely terrifying. Whish! Lu Yun's whole body radiated light, with 9 golden lights flashing behind him. It turned out to be the golden giant sword formed by the Golden Fangs, and then it shot out with a strange trajectory. The chilling sounds of breaking through the air were endless. The golden light beams gathered in the void, weaving into a dazzling radiance, making it impossible for the people of the Cloud C-Sect to discern their position. Thump! Thump! The golden giant sword interwove countless rays of golden light, flying horizontally and vertically among the Cloud C-Sect team. In an instant, over a dozen people were pierced through, screaming in agony. The gold-edged giant fang posed no threat to martial artists in the Rune Seed realm, but for those in the Golden Body realm and below, it was the embodiment of a killing weapon. Sharp edges pierced through the Cloud C-Sect members' skulls, eyebrows, chests, and abdomens, causing blood to spurt everywhere. This one-sided massacre sent shivers down people's spines, making their souls tremble. How could there be such a terrifying person? Kill. Seeing Lu Yun bring down many powerful warriors from the Cloud Sea sect in just a moment, the morale of the martial artists and the demon suppression army from Morijin surged, and they swarmed out to fight. With Lu Yun, the killing star present, the small battlefield quickly tipped in favor of one side. Who was the strong man just now? His skills are incredible. Even a powerful person in the later stages of the Golden Body realm would not be able to resist him for long. Someone whispered from the crowd after the Cloud Sea sect's people were killed. Lu Yun's sudden appearance, incredible display of power, and swift departure all shrouded him in a veil of mystery. Lu Yun reappeared on another hill with several sumi rings in his hand, which were his spoils of battle. However, he had no time to examine them. Directly withstanding the attack of a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse had caused considerable damage to his body, and it seemed that some rune power was still lingering in his left shoulder. Even with his terrifying self-healing ability, he could not recover. What's worse, as long as he activated his Yuan Hai, the rune power remaining on the wound would spread to other parts of his body, causing further damage. Upon realizing this, Lu Yun could not afford to delay, and hurriedly left the battlefield to find a quiet place to recover. Not long after Lu Yun left, a nearly 1,000-foot-high peak collapsed with a deafening crash. Immediately afterward, a burst of golden light erupted, and runes intertwined. The countless falling stones were crushed into dust by the intertwined rune light, turning into smoke that filled the sky. "Where did those two little thieves go?" demanded the Rune Seed Realm powerhouse wrapped in runes. His eyes opened and closed, emanating a wild golden light and powerful pressure that shocked all four directions. Many demon suppression army soldiers and martial artists couldn't dodge in time and were crushed, their bodies disintegrating, and they perished. "Suochiya, you remnant of the sky-splitting sword sect, come out and face me." After a short period of contemplation, he understood the cause of the situation. Suochiya, the unparalleled genius of the sky-splitting sword sect, was a renowned figure among the 100 sects. He possessed a supreme aura, and his sword-drawing sky-splitting slash killed countless Rune Seed Realm powerhouses with ease. Unfortunately, such a peerless genius disappeared due to the destruction of the sky-splitting sword sect. Today he appeared again and displayed the sword-drawing sky-splitting slash, making this man's mind briefly short-circuit from fear. By the time he fully understood the situation, Lu Yun and Suochiya had vanished. Now, with the treasure vault destroyed, treasures taken, and allowing Lu Yun and Suochiya to escape, he was furious. The killing intent in his eyes increased, and he vented his anger on the numerous demon suppression army soldiers and Morijin martial artists. Facing the wrath of such a Rune Seed Realm powerhouse, these soldiers and martial artists, whose strengths only reached the later stages of the Golden Body realm, couldn't withstand the onslaught and were quickly routed, fleeing for their lives. The Rune Seed Realm powerhouse's attack was completely overwhelming. No one will escape. The furious Rune Seed Realm powerhouse roared and waved his spear, and countless runes fell. Boom! Mountains collapsed, and the earth cracked, sending smoke and boulders rolling upward into the sky. The power of this spear was immeasurable, cleaving the earth and creating a huge abyss. Many demon suppression army soldiers and Morijin martial artists were buried in it, and several Golden Body realm powerhouses were killed as well. Chapter 348, Chapter 348, Chapter 205, Primordial Liquid Mastering the Profound, Limit of the Primordial Sea. Chapter 348, Chapter 205, Primordial Liquid Mastering the Profound, Limit of the Primordial Sea. Lease reading Omicron Novelcool. Omicron, old man, so you ran here? A low, bellowing voice echoed in the sky. A burst of golden runes descended, protecting the remaining demon suppression army guards and Mori-Jin martial artists. As a result, the golden battle spear that had been repairing the runes could no longer drop and was directly struck by a divine light, sending it flying away. On the promising path, a powerful figure, wrapped in runes and radiating a dazzling brilliance, descended, a surviving black-rank demon extermination general, upon seeing the figure on the promising path, revealed an expression of admiration and excitement on his face. It's General Zhuang Ziyuan. Zhuang Ziyuan was the most renowned Earth-rank demon extermination general in the Demon Suppression Army's Far Suppression Legion, possessing incredible talent and powerful strength. He had condensed a top-grade rune seed, and although he was only at the mid-stage of the rune seed realm, his true combat power was even higher than that of the late-stage rune seed realm. Upon seeing Zhuang Ziyuan's arrival, the rune seed realm expert from Cloud Sea Sect shuddered involuntarily. He was well aware of the young demon extermination general's immense power. Even the supreme elder of their sect, who was at the late stage of the rune seed realm, was suppressed by this man. And now, their opponent had appeared here, which meant there was trouble with the supreme elder. Run! Not showing any hesitation, and not even harboring any thoughts of resistance, he immediately fled in desperation. Although he too was at the mid-stage of the rune seed realm, his power compared to Zhuang Ziyuan's was worlds apart. Moreover, he was currently seriously injured, and not in his peak state. Humph, I can't stop that old man, Yun Shan, let alone an insignificant mid-stage rune seed realm like you trying to escape from me? On the promising path, Zhuang Ziyuan radiated a brilliant light all over his body, snorted coldly, and turned his runes into 12 golden rivers that sealed the void. With a hum, the heaven and earth trembled as the surviving rune seed realm expert from the Cloud Sea Sect crashed into one of the golden rivers, causing the world to shudder and unleashing a boundless might that made people quake in fear. With countless rays of auspicious clouds and dazzling brilliance, Zhuang Ziyuan walked through the void like a god. For every step he took, a law rune emerged behind him. After 98 steps, there were 81 runes swirling around him, and they continued to multiply, eventually forming 85 law runes. Each law rune transformed into a golden river that filled the sky, sealing off heaven and earth. Break, break, let me break. The rune seed realm expert from the Cloud Sea Sect, desperate to break through the multiple layers of the seal, kept on crashing into the golden rivers. However, the vast difference in power between the two parties resulted in their flesh being torn apart, and their golden blood stained the sky. After finishing off a rune seed realm expert, the brilliance swirling around Zhuang Ziyuan intensified, and his aura faintly showed signs of transformation. However, advancing from the mid-stage to the late-stage rune seed realm was not easy, and even with his exceptional talent, it was impossible to make such progress all at once. All the rune seed realm experts from the Cloud Sea Sect have been killed, and the Supreme Elder has escaped. Demon Suppression Army guards and all martial artists, hear my order. Annihilate the remaining forces of the Cloud Sea Sect with all your might. Resonating with runes and booming with divine sounds, Zhuang Ziyuan's voice echoed throughout the battlefield spanning thousands of miles. The Supreme Elder has fled. The Great Elder and Third Elder were slain. The Cloud Sea Sect disciples felt the sky crumbling when they heard the news. The Supreme Elder, the strongest rune seed realm expert apart from the Sect Master and the most significant pillar of support to the Cloud Sea Sect, had fled just like that. The Great Elder and Third Elder, experts in the mid-stage and early stage of the rune seed realm, were also slain. This outcome was difficult for them to accept. From the beginning of the war to the present, not even 2 full days had passed, and the senior experts of the Cloud Sea Sect had either perished or fled. How long could they, the Gold Body Realm and Transforming Origin Realm disciples withstand it? Could the Cloud Sea sect continue to exist? Escape, escape. As long as we join forces with the sect master, the Cloud Sea sect will not be destroyed. For a moment, many Cloud Sea sect elders, stewards, and disciples began to break out in different directions, splitting up into dozens of groups. Kill. In the sky and on the ground, Demon Suppression Army guards, strong fighters from various martial academies, and independent martial cultivators pursued, and killed them relentlessly. This was a bloody, brutal battle. Amidst the countless explosions and murderous sieges, disciples of the Cloud Sea sect fell one after another. However, due to the vast scale of the battlefield and the numerous remnants of the Cloud Sea sect, many elders and disciples managed to break through the encirclement and eventually escape. The Cloud Sea sect has been defeated. Lu Yun, who was still striving to recover from his injuries, changed his expression when he learned of the end of the battle. He didn't expect the Cloud Sea sect to fall so quickly. Moreover, even the late-stage Rune Seed Realm Supreme Elder had been defeated and forced to flee. As for the power of a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert, he didn't know. However, even a heavily injured mid-stage Rune Seed Realm expert had inflicted unprecedented damage on him in just a few exchanges. In this case, it will be impossible to continue accumulating demon extermination points and acquiring resources. Originally, Lu Yun planned to continue accumulating demon extermination points and search for resources after recovering from his injuries. But now there was no way. The Cloud Sea sect had been completely defeated, which meant that everything within their territory had become the war spoils of the Demon Suppression Army. Without permission, even as the Martial Academy's Saint Child, he couldn't privately plunder resources. These were the rules, the Demon Suppression Army's rules, and the rules of the Yuan Emperor, unless he became part of the Demon Suppression Army's higher-ups. Gazing at the now quiet void, Lu Yun's expression calmed down somewhat as he ultimately decided to continue recuperating his injuries.